Starting the night out with some beautiful Josh Homme. That's from the Desert Sessions, I think volume 12? The Desert Sessions, volume 12. Easier said than done. I don't think I've ever actually heard that song before. I just kind of found it right before I was getting ready. I was like, oh, damn. Let's give it a go. I enjoyed it. I liked it. So anyways, so this is our first time, my first time back since the big Packy One Chip Challenge. If you haven't watched it yet, you should go watch it. But no Spice King was crowned. We're going to have to come back another day. Going to have to come back another time and really get this sorted out. Now, there are two different versions of the video. There is the one that I posted that premiered. It's like a little under an hour. Kind of takes you through the whole thing. But we actually recorded for about 2 hours. And Big Paul and I had nothing to drink for the first hour. And then in the second hour, we started drinking whiskey. But no water, no milk. We didn't actually drink any water or milk until, Paul drank some orange juice, I drank some milk until after we ended recording. So we went over 2 hours. I mean, in some ways you could say, oh, well, you guys are Spice Kings together, but that's just not how it works, okay? That's a bunch of bullshit. It's all a bunch of bullshit. I had a sack of orange habaneros. Oh, I had some plans. For that recording. I thought I was going to win. I really went in thinking that I had it in the bag. I knew Paul would be a dark horse. I knew he would make it past 5 minutes. But, such is life. Maybe Mendham is right. Maybe it is all bullshit. So today, we're going to be checking out basically the concept of the law of attraction. We'll be watching some videos. This was partially shadow produced by our very own Tarami. So if you watch this after the fact, Tarami, hello, how's it going, buddy? We're going to be looking at The Secret, and then we're going to get into a few other things about the law of attraction, and also other people that have kind of picked up the ball and ran with it, right? This is all kind of like new age stuff, personal affirmation, manifestation. If you believe it in it enough, it could very well happen to you. You want that new car? You got to start thinking about it. You got to start thinking about it really hard. You got to put it on your vision board. This kind of stuff. And we'll see where the night goes. We'll start there and see how things go. I mean, I don't really know much about the law of attraction other than it's like basic conceits. I don't think there is very much more to it. I could be wrong, of course. I'm always ready to be wrong, but we'll see what happens. Let me refresh here, make sure that the fucking chat's working. Good old D-Live likes to steal my wind from me. These guys are over there. They're talking on Signal. All right. So we're going to talk about laws of attraction. We're going to start with this book or this video that's a breakdown of the book The Secret, which was kind of mainstreamed and popularized because of Oprah Winfrey. Oprah put this on her book club. I think she had the author on Oprah, which might be an interesting thing. Let me see if I can find that too. See if I can find Oprah and The Secret. Prophet says no fucking notifications. 0 fucking notifications. They're fucking slacking, dude. Oprah talks about how she used the secrets. Discovering the secrets. So she did like a whole series. These are really long. These are very long. The Secrets. What's her name? Rhonda Byrne? Rhonda Byrne? All right, well, maybe we'll check that out too. Check out some of Oprah stuff. Weird. Big Paul says, you're good. You just missed Shaun calling you a sweet pussy. Listen, I didn't say anything. All I said was there was no Spice King crowned. No Spice King is crowned. It really is. It's a bunch of horse shit. It's a bunch of bullshit. I feel like my moment was stolen from me. I don't know how Paul cheated. I don't know how Big Paul cheated, but I know he did. I don't know how. I don't know yet. But yeah. So this is, like I said, this is by Tarami's request. Prophet says he thinks because he licked the rapper that makes him some kind of king. Well, we had to do something. Got desperate. We're getting desperate there. Desperate for a champion. All right, let's see what this is about. I guess this breaks down the book so we can kind of understand what we're going to be getting into in a larger sense.
To read. The Secret by Rhonda Byrne is a self-help book that centers on understanding and using the secret to improve one's life. The secret is the law of attraction, which states that everything that happens to us is due to us attracting it with our thoughts.
With your mind.
All the greatest thinkers, artists, and inventors have known about the power of the secret and leveraged it to change themselves and the world around them. The universe is infinite and will grant us anything that we can summon with our imaginations. However, it is important to only put positive energy into the universe, as negative thoughts will only result in negative circumstances in the future.
It's like just taking the idea, like, well, if you tend to be more positive, things tend to happen for you because you're putting out positive things out into the world. People tend to respond to positivity with positivity in kind. Everybody likes being around a nice guy. Big Dick 6969 says hello. What's going on? And you just follow. Thank you for the follow. And then if you act poorly, if you act like an asshole, well, bad things will happen to you because people won't be so open. They won't be open. They won't be open to helping you, I guess. Prophet says, this isn't the James Van Der Beek movie. Oh, man, the laws of attraction. I haven't seen that in forever.
We each have the power to change our lives if we fully believe in and take full advantage of the secret. Number 1. The secret is the law of attraction. Everything that comes into your life is due to you attracting it. What you think of and how you think about it decide.
The reason why this is so appealing to somebody like Oprah is because Oprah found this when Oprah was already massively successful. So this kind of new age hokey shit, they're just like, wow, yeah, this could really change things. Or maybe it's a way to introduce light witchcraft into the population. Get those stay-at-home moms, those wine moms, those Karens hanging out on the couch watching Oprah. Be like, wow, something to think about.
It's what is attracted to you. Number 2. The greatest teachers to ever exist have told us about the importance of the law of attraction. Writers like William Shakespeare have written about it in their poetry. Artists like Leonardo da Vinci have expressed it in their paintings, and thinkers like Socrates have demonstrated it in their teachings. Some of the oldest religions also have spoken about the power of the law of attraction. It has existed for as long as we have, and it determines the order of the universe. We are able to call the law of attraction.
It's just like taking something very basic, kind of very simple to understand things about interpersonal relationships and making it esoteric and whoa, so mysterious.
Into action simply with our thoughts. The wealthiest 1% in the world understand the secret. They have become the wealthiest because they only think of wealth and abundance and never give any time to contradictory thoughts. Number 3. Think of yourself as a magnet. Things are meant to be attracted to you, but only when you think about them will they actually get closer to you. Your thoughts, past and present, become things in your life. Your thoughts send powerful frequencies into the universe, so when you constantly think about something, sooner or later, those frequencies will deliver on your thoughts. A great way to learn how to carefully select and cultivate your thoughts is through meditation.
Do you think this do you think it separates you from agency, or do you think it empowers you to be more of a proactive agent of change in your own life. Because if you were to take it seriously, if you were to meditate on it, if you were constantly to think about it, I assume you can't stop there. You can't just wait for it to manifest. You're actually subconsciously going out and creating the circumstances by which you will attain that thing that you want. It's not magic. They kind of just the way they present it seems just so counterintuitive, seems just a little backwards. Makes you, I guess it's secular religion. It's a way to another way to launder kind of a secular perspective into and couching it in some sort of religious, quasi-spiritual framework.
Meditation quiets your mind and makes it easier.
Prophet says, not true. This is the same as God will provide. I think to a certain degree that's true. I think for some people, right? It's probably not, that's not the way it affects everybody, just in the same way that the God will provide kind of sentiment affects people differently as well. Some people think God will provide is a way to affirm your own effort, what you're trying to accomplish. God is going to help you out, so you don't have to do it alone. You don't need to be afraid. You should take that initial step. Some people just are too neurotic or afraid to even just take that first step. They get so bogged down in the variables and what could happen that it stops a lot of people. And some people, they're able to lean on God, I suppose. And some people lean on The Secret, lean on Oprah.
To control your thoughts. Just a few minutes a day will help you send more positive thoughts into the universe. Number 4. It is impossible to register, let alone control, every single one of our thoughts. However,
not true. No, of course it is. Prophet says the Mormons never bought into that shit. They taught us to put our shoulder to the wheel.
Is a shortcut to finding out what we were thinking about, and that is through our emotions. Our emotions tell us what we're thinking. Think of your emotions or feelings as your frequency feedback mechanism. They will tell you where the...
Why overcomplicate it? Why overcomplicate it? This is just about introspection. Just understanding what draws these thoughts out of you. Because usually it's reactionary to something, even on a subconscious level. You're subconsciously reacting to your environment and the way your environment makes you feel. You don't have to describe it as a frequency feedback mechanism. I guess people just got to layer this stuff on top of it, make it seem like it's deeper than it really is, I suppose. Maybe I'm just a dick. That could be it too.
You are sending positive or negative thoughts out into the universe. If you are feeling good, that means you are thinking good thoughts. Some of our bad days feel like bad things keep happening over and over. One negative thought can trigger an entire chain reaction of bad events. Don't react negatively to negative things, as this will only attract more of the same. These chain reactions can also happen with good events.
Well, but that's... I hate this, because this is definitely separating your agency. The reason why you want to have a cool, calm demeanor no matter what happens is because if you start acting out, then you will produce a negative effect because you're acting negatively in an environment where you're probably being observed, etc. Or even when you're by yourself, you ever try to fix something, you're trying to fix a car or whatever, you get super fucking frustrated, start throwing tools, start hitting stuff, start grabbing things, start shaking things. Obviously, that's not good, and you lose perspective, and more bad things will happen, and you won't be able to move forward. And that's on you. It's called self-control.
The more you feel good, the more good things will keep happening to you. So when you are feeling down, find a way to change that immediately with a song, exercise, or meditation.
Sure.
You control how the universe treats you. Number 5. Love is the highest frequency you can emit because it is the strongest positive emotion you can feel. If you think thoughts of love...
He just draws in the bubble this dude getting a blowjob. Thinking positive, putting that positive frequency out there. Hoping that it'll come to fruition.
You will receive the benefits from it. Number 6. there are 3 steps to creating what you want in life, otherwise called the creative process, and they are: ask, believe, and receive. When asking the universe for what you want, be clear. Mixed feelings will only bring mixed results.
Oh, yeah.
To believe, you must have complete and utter faith that what happens to you is a direct result of what you were once thinking and asking for. Believing will cause the law of attraction to give you even more of what you had asked for. All you have to do for the 3rd step,
you gotta be willing to receive it. Oh man, I just think about people that are in a place in their life where they watch something like this and they feel like it's revelatory. I feel bad for those people, honestly.
Receive is be grateful and feel good about what you have received. This will continue the cycle of positive thought and continue generating positive experiences for you. Number 7. You can start changing your life today by writing a list of things you are grateful for. This shifts your energy and thinking towards positive things, which you will begin to receive more of in the future. All the most successful people in history have understood the power of gratitude. When people are wishing to become wealthier but are not thankful for what they have now, they remain in poverty. Number 8.
The frequencies will damn you to a life of poverty. Big Paul says, every time I'm clear with the universe, I get fucked. That's why I'm balls deep in the metaverse, because it's everything I pay for. Well, that's definitely, that's you lining up your frequencies. So you're lining up your frequencies. Like, where do my values lie? What do I really want out of life? And you want total control, maximum control. Want to go into that metaverse. It's a known quantity. We know what we're getting out of it. We know what we're going to put into it. Serious stuff. Big Paul says snake oil shit right here. It is, because it just couches these kind of very basic things about personal responsibility and having intellectual or emotional maturity, emotional and intellectual maturity, and understanding where things are derived from in your own life.
Visualization is the powerful process of picturing how future events will happen in your head. Doing so generates the thoughts and feelings you need to send out even more powerful frequencies into the universe. One way to visualize your future is by making a vision board.
This person has impeccable handwriting, by the way. Impeccable. Looks like a typeset.
On a designated board, write down your goals and place pictures of your ideal future life. Look at this every day so you can see which of these things you receive over time and feel gratitude. Number 9.
Better goddamn feel
At
gratitude.
our most basic level, beneath flesh, organs, and atoms, is energy. We are energy, and we have the ability to draw upon the universe for anything we can imagine. Do not dwell on your past misfortune.
I've been thinking of riches and mansions and Maseratis. I want to live the Britney Spears life. I've been thinking about this for a long time. I've been trying to manifest it. I tell you, soon.
Hardships, or abuses, as that will only bring future problems. Focus on positive feelings, and the law of attraction will deliver. Do what you love. Once you understand the power of the secret and the power we each hold with our minds, you will only want to do what you...
You just imagine Oprah in like the early 2000s just coming on her show and being like, just quit your job. You don't like what you're doing? Quit your job. Find something different. Do it now. Learn the secret. Big Paul says, we are star energy thieves and nothing more. And nothing more.
You love. As you commit to joy, you will only radiate and receive more joy in your life. We hope you enjoyed the insights.
Oh yeah, that seemed like there's a whole book. That takes a whole book to say if you were to read The Secret. I remember when The Secret came out, and I remember like a movie came out. There was like kind of a movie adaptation of it as well. You're like, what the fuck? Okay, so here's another guy. The Law of Attraction Solution. So this is what this dude does. And he's wearing like a crystal on his chest. He's wearing a sick Hawaiian shirt, though. The Law of Attraction Solutions is the name of the channel. It says, prove the Law of Attraction works in 15 seconds. Do this daily and increase your manifesting muscle. Oh, boy. Prophet says, I'm imagining Jamie Foxx in the makeup chair for Spider-Man, listening to this and giving himself a Dirk Diggler pep talk. Man, they used to make fun of me, man. Made fun of my shit now, but now we yellow. We yellow, man. We've fixed things. I manifested it. Put it out into the universe. Now I'm a yellow electro. Everything is right. I thought the purple stuff was bunk too. Let's see here.
Prove to yourself that the law of attraction works and is real in your life. You can prove it in about 15 seconds. Now, this really works. And once you prove it to yourself, guess what? You will increase your belief, and that increases your manifesting muscle.
Yeah, see, this is key here because probably a lot of people probably are not working out their manifesting muscle. So their failures are really on them. It's not the secret. It's not that it lacks perspective. It's not that it's overly simplistic and pedantic. Not at all. Now, I know that's probably what you're thinking, but the reality is that you have not been working out your manifesting muscle. Thinking of what you deserve.
Hi, everyone. Robert Zink, miracle mentor and alchemy success coach.
Whoa. That's the title. Miracle mentor and alchemy success coach. This guy's a witch. He's a witch.
And today we are soaring high like a big, beautiful eagle. And we are always flying in the direction of your dreams and goals. Hey, we are counting down to lovefest22.com. Look at it's going to sell out.
What is this? This is not an ordinary webinar. LoveFest 22 is a one-of-a-kind love and manifesting intensive that will share specific tools to help you enjoy a deeper love life, find the person for you, heal a relationship. Pretty intense stuff. Big Paul says, best title ever. Prophet says, we are officially in an MDE sketch. A little bit, yeah. It does definitely have a little bit of that sauce to it.
They're talking about it. They're getting excited about it. This is on February 22, 2022. It's over 2 hours of intense.
Big Paul says, I'll drink the Kool-Aid with this fucking dude. Oh, yeah, because, I mean, that's what it is. Sometimes it's just about the medium. It's not always about the message. You know, you got to find the right medium for the message. And in this wizard, alchemist, success mentor guy, I think we found him. Prophet says, this is a Nick Rochefort character. He actually even looks a little bit like him.
Deep mind work that's going to affect your life and your love life forever. Attract a specific person.
Attract these people.
Somebody back into your life. Make your marriage or your relationship.
This looks like a Viagra commercial. Guys, like, I've never manifested anything harder in my entire life. Can you feel that?
Even better. I mean, anything that has to do with love, including finding your soulmate, your twin flame, we're going to cover it. And guess what? We're going to answer questions as well. So it's a special day, 2/22/2022.
Oh, shit. That's tomorrow, guys. That's tomorrow. We could go. We could go to this webinar.
LoveFest22.com. Join us. Get registered today. So, high flyers, one of the reasons that people have trouble manifesting what they desire is because they don't fully believe it. They hope it's true. They wish that the law of attraction were true, but they don't necessarily believe that it's true, that it's a scientific principle. So
that's a scientific principle. It's a scientific principle. If you believe in yourself enough, it will come true. Citation needed.
Principle of manifestation for certain. I mean, too many people have used the law of attraction for too long and gotten great results. But when you prove it to yourself, okay, when you prove it to yourself with little things, what I call micro manifestations, when
Oh.
you prove it to yourself, guess what happens? You start to believe it more and more and more. And as you believe it more and more and more, wonderful things begin to take place.
So yeah, you're being positive. It's also a form of delusion because you may start reading into every aspect of your life as a manifestation of your desires, what you want it to happen. Like people leave no room for like happy accidents. Like the best parts of life are the things that you don't see coming, right? But not these people. Oh no, 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 no. They would have to retrofit all of that into their thoughts. Because like imagine like say if you go down this road, if you go far enough down this road with this kind of stuff, at some point you're going to become kind of beholden to it. And then what if something bad happens? Then how do you interpret that? How do you process that? What do you do? I have a feeling they don't really talk about that very much. Prof says, yeah, okay, buddy. Tell me how to manifest 50 hours of that Fallout character that I lost. You tell me, bud. Well, he wants you to manifest it into reality. He wants you to recreate the character. You know? You got to push forward. Don't let him be erased in vain. Don't let that file be corrupted in vain.
And all of a sudden, you begin to manifest bigger things easier with less effort. And then bigger things easier with less effort because your belief is in alignment. Now, this technique I'm going to give you, you can do it.
See, it's using your manifestation muscle.
Anywhere, anytime. It's very, very simple. This technique only takes about 15 to 20 seconds, and it's easy to do. And the reason I want you to do it repetitively, do it over and over again, is the more you prove to yourself that you can manifest whatever you desire, the more you prove to yourself, the easier it's going to be to manifest the bigger things you desire.
So, I don't know. I guess the stream is going up and down in terms of quality. I apologize. Yeah, it's like being weird. Very unstable on DLive right now. We're very unstable. So, I apologize. There will be a replay. It'll be on Zoobox forever.
In your life. So what you're doing to begin with is you're doing a micro manifestation. And you're going to manifest something that's easy. You're going to manifest something that you believe is easy to manifest. I don't want you to start off with something difficult. I want you to use this technique for something easy because that's what the whole purpose of this technique is about. It's about you manifesting something easy and then doing it again.
It's also just tricking yourself into being delusional. And at some point you're just going to give up on effort, I suppose. Although, I mean, like I said, like they don't ever talk about like the negative consequences of this kind of stuff. I guess we should, after this video, let's go find a video that's critical of this concept, because I imagine that's what they got to talk about. Like people that have gone all in on this and did not see a positive result and felt that was a reflection on themselves. And maybe they did, I don't know, but that could lead to a lot of things. Lead to suicide, depression, intense depression.
Again, and then doing it again, and then doing it again. And as you keep doing it, things get easier. And you get the idea, and you start to know kind of the mental lane that you need to be in to manifest the bigger things that you really want in life. So the ancients believed that each one of us is a microcosm of the macrocosm. God is outside me. God is within me. There is the reality in my mind. There's the reality that I see. Macrocosm, microcosm. So within yourself, you are thinking, you're feeling, you could be obsessing, you could be worrying, you could be doing any number of things. In the outer world, you see what's taking place outside you in the 3D world, and that's the macrocosm, the world outside you. There's a space in between the macrocosm, the world outside you, the world that you perceive, and the world inside you. That space is the secret. Wayne Dyer used to.
So you have to buy into so much hokey shit. If they just taught this as if it was like a self-help thing, which I think a lot of them do. Like if you go to like Tony Robbins, those types of people, that's kind of how they describe this. They kind of remove all the esoteric stuff, all the hokey stuff, and then they just present you with the idea of just positive affirmation. Just be more positive in your life. More positive things will happen to you because you're putting out positivity, like I said, and then people meet you with positivity. If you're a nice guy, obviously it doesn't happen all the time. That's not 100% of the time, but generally, if you're pleasant to be around, people will be pleasant back to you. Opens up doors and opportunities. Hagbert says that space, Newark, New Jersey.
Talk a lot about finding that space between thoughts, what he called the gap. Okay, we're kind of doing the same thing. We're finding the space between the outer world and the inner world. Now, the easiest way to find that space is to take one deep breath in through your nose, hold it for about a second, and then let it out and remain empty. In that emptiness, when your lungs are empty, you are.
That's when you make a wish to Zardoz.
In between the outer world and the inner world. So, high flyers, as you take that deep breath,
this guy's using his manifestation muscle right now. He's using that manifestation muscle really hard. Look at the serenity. Look at the serenity.
As you remain empty, visualize one specific scene that you desire to manifest. Or,
oh my God. Private says, I'm about to take a deep breath. Hold it and then let it out if you know what I mean. Oh, buddy.
In this case, I want you to start off with an object, one specific object. Make it something that you believe is easy to manifest, because the whole idea is to.
It's just like a fat guy doing it. He has a piece of cake next to him, so he just thinks about the piece of cake. He's like, I can definitely get that. I can definitely make that something that I'm about to do.
Get your mind believing in the law of attraction and how it works. And the more it believes, the easier everything becomes. Whatever the object is, see it getting brighter, bolder, louder, more animated, more colorful. Make it as bright.
Like, you already want to have to believe this stuff. Like, to seriously consider this. And then, like I said before, you're going to like retcon everything that happens in your life to fall in line with this belief system.
And as colorful as you possibly can. Now, I'm going to give you suggested things to manifest into your 3D reality.
Hit me with it, mentor. Hey, what's up, Coach Braddock?
What I mean 3D reality is that you will see it at some time during the day. Okay? So you do this in the morning, sometime during the day, you're going to come across this object, a ladder. Okay? Now, one time I did this experiment. I did it exactly the way I'm describing it right here. I counted over 25 ladders that I saw that day. 20.
It's like the same thing as if you know somebody with a particular like make and model and color of a car, and then you just see that car all over the place anytime, or all the time rather. I remember my mom used to have like a Kia. She had like a Kia something or other. It was like lime green. And when I remember when she bought it, I was like, that's a really odd color. That's really weird. And then for the next like 5 or 6 years, I would just see that make, model, and color all over the place. You know what I mean? Your friend bet you $5, huh? Sure, I can say that for you. Like, what do we get? What do we get for it? Please, you're very desperate. It makes me feel, it puts me off. How much did you bet your buddy? $5? $5 for you, big dick? I'll send $1. Okay. No, you won't, but that's okay. 1 pump of poop. There you go.
25 ladders. If you don't want to do a ladder, how about a bouquet of flowers, or a flower, or some roses, or whatever your favorite flower is? How about something like a unicorn or a stuffed teddy bear? Maybe you see a picture of a unicorn. Maybe you'll see a billboard with a unicorn on it.
Yeah, then it's just gonna force you to, like, you're gonna be looking for it, and then you're gonna see it. What the fuck? The prophet says, I laughed. Coach Braddock said before that, and an extra pump of poop for you, sir.
Or a stuffed teddy bear. Maybe you'll go by a shop and there'll be a whole bunch of stuffed teddy bears or unicorns in there. But whatever the case is, you've manifested it. How about a set of numbers? 111.
Oh my god. Seriously, like, how the fuck could you buy into this shit? How could you buy into this stuff? Good God. You gotta be on the fucking edge. Teetering. We're gonna have to check out this guy's channel. We're gonna have to see if there's any video evidence of him giving seminars.
222, 333, 444. Pick one of them and manifest it. And of course, my favorite one, I do this all the time, a parking spot. You're going someplace where you know.
I do this all the time. I think of parking spots, and then I find one when I go to stores.
That the parking is difficult. Manifest a parking spot right up front. See it clearly.
Does this work every time? Is this 100% success rate?
Get bold and big and visualize you driving your car into that parking spot. High flyers, as you start accumulating successes,
high flyers. Now he's like, oh, now that you're a high flyer, now you've reached Thetan level 5,000. Now you're going to start really seeing some gains. Now that you got that manifestation muscle good and properly pumped, now you can start thinking and manifesting real shit. Like cars, like money, like women. You can live your life like a Saudi prince with $15,000.
Mind will move to a mind of manifesting certainty. You will have increased your manifesting muscle. And that's wonderful, because now you're ready to move on to bigger and better things in your life. But you'll always have this simple little tool. It's easy to do, and you'll do it all the time because it is easy and because it works. Here's some other videos to help you on your journey.
Oh, he's got those money affirmations for wealth and abundance. Oh my goodness. Well, let's see what else he's got on his channel. I mean, who am I to deny? What was his title again? He had a crazy title. Where is it? It's after Love Fest, so he plugs his little commercial for his thing. Where is it? He said he was a wizard. Oh, it's not worth it. I'm sure he'll say it again.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, everyone. It's me, Robert. Let me see. How to be magnetic to your lover. Manifest a specific person. How to detach from obsession and still get what you want. They will come back after rejection. Why do they come back after rejecting you? Because you didn't turn off the magnet. That's why they keep coming back. Coach Braddock says, you're about to get paid, my friend. Don't you worry. Well, even if not, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it, man. Manifest overnight. You deserve the love you crave. Let's check. He's got a woman in his studio on this one. Oh, my goodness. They're plugging Love Fest. Was this a live stream? Yeah, it was. This was a quick live stream they did. He wants to show everybody his young bride. His young bride. Big Dick says he's back. Good to see you, buddy. All right, you deserve the love you crave. Another Hawaiian. Oh, she's got Hawaiian shirts too. They're holding giant crystals. What could happen? What's gonna happen, guys?
Hello, everyone.
Oh, loud.
Here we are live again on YouTube and on Facebook at the same time.
Big Dick's back in town, indeed. Oh, thank you for the ice cream, Big Dick. I appreciate it, buddy.
Yeah, we are excited to join you here. We're waiting for the room to populate. There we go. Now we have some numbers on our end.
So, Rachel.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this guy's got, how many subs does he have? 701,000 subs. Oh, yeah.
What is that?
This is a beautiful.
Oh, Big Dick just done another 7 more ice creams and a diamond. Thank you so much, Big Dick. I appreciate it, buddy. The burner says, hopefully some hot action to the max forthcoming. What up? What's up, the burner?
Amethyst point that we just acquired at the Tucson Gem and Mineral Show. I don't know if I can get any better lighting on it if I get a little closer to the camera, or it gets a little blurry there. But this is, I mean, it's quite large. You can.
Hagbert said he is a wizard. He's wearing the eye of Agamotto. Agamotto?
See how tall it is based on my fingers there. But these points like this, they're designed to suck energy and then push energy in another direction. So when you're making grids, we got several of these to make grids to amplify our intentions with these beautiful amethyst points. I have a few people saying that they love crystals. Their homes are filled with them. And if you ever get a chance the first and second weekend in February to come to Tucson, Arizona, you will see and experience more rocks, gems, and minerals than you believe possible.
So what?
Bum O says, I smell patchouli. I think you're right. I think you're probably right. Habbert says she's designed to suck and push energy as well, if you know what I mean. Wink, wink.
What do rocks or crystals have to do with relationships?
Well,
actually, thank you for asking, Wizard.
First of all, I mean,
everything to do with it.
Loving relationships, you get a beautiful rock on your finger. That's the main rock.
Well, I think that each of us has the ability to amplify our love intentions. We're just talking about love right now, but we could be talking about other things as well. But we have the ability to...
But really, we're talking about hot fuck action to the max right now. And I want you guys to know how I bagged this little lady right here and gave her that rock to center herself. Bummo says, I'm burning incense. I've been to the Intergem show in Tucson. Oh, wow. Interesting.
To amplify our love intentions and the environment in which we live and the food that we eat, the air that we breathe, all of this affects our vibrational state and whether we are manifesting or whether we are repelling.
Oh, see, that's key right there, you know? You don't want to eat too many cheeseburgers. You eat too many cheeseburgers, you get all that cholesterol, you get backed up. Like, how are you supposed to be sending energy when you're all backed up? What you got to do is get yourself some fiber. Got to flush all that toxic shit out. And then you got to take this crystal and you stick it up your butt.
And so you may have noticed in a relationship that you might be repelling from time to time. I think crystals like this can make a huge difference if you know how to use them properly. Talk about this one here.
If you know how to use them properly. Again, a lot of this stuff just seems like you would assign meaning to stuff that happens after you engage in this kind of behavior or this kind of belief. If you buy a crystal and you want to treat it as it's going to do something to align your energies or to do whatever, then you're probably just going to start assigning the things that happen to your life, the positive things that happen to your life, to the crystal. It just becomes kind of circular. Bummo says, do we not like these folks? Well, I don't know these folks. I don't know if I like them or not. I think this stuff is pretty hokey myself. Like, I don't buy into crystals and chakras and I don't know what the law of attraction. That's not really my thing, but we're learning about it. We're looking for information. We're on an expedition.
This is a fascinating.
Ooh, the lighting is great on that one.
Oh, look at that.
This is a piece of, and I always get my tongue tied, labradorite. It is known for opening your subconscious mind, activating your third eye, and really taking you to a different level of consciousnness. And depending on the lighting, this lighting is great right now. It really shimmers almost like an oyster shell. But if you get the lighting not so right, it looks more.
And he's just thinking about oysters now. He's like, wow, that's really going to help me align my energies. Also, an aphrodisiac.
Dull. So it's kind of got that mysterious glow about it.
Yeah, we are so focused on remaining open and remaining sensitive to each other in our house that we're looking at doing our entire countertops in labradorite.
I don't see, like, this is the kind of thing that starts getting weird. People start inferring that they lack agency in their own relationship, and some of their relationship is determined upon having these powerful crystals in their presence. Because if those weren't there, well, then things might go amiss. Things might go awry. If we have a bad day, well, that's probably because we didn't get that fucking countertop done. See, I told you, wizard, she would say to him. Hagbert says, plus you can take the shells home after and paint them.
So you can do some absolutely amazing things with various tools. And I talked about this in a video not long ago. Flowers. I mean, you bring a bouquet of flowers into a room and the whole energy of that room shifts.
Because the flowers are a reminder of life, and they're putting life into the atmosphere. And right now on our kitchen windowsill, we have a beautiful Christmas cactus. It's blooming right now. It totally missed Christmas, but that's okay.
Are you sure that's not a bad omen? That might be a bad omen. Bummo asks, what kind of mic do you have? I have a crappy Snowball Yeti microphone that sometimes works well and sometimes does not.
We're enjoying its beautiful flowers and just soaking up that energy of life that it brings into the house.
Yeah, so we take good care of our plants because our plants represent energy and vibration. And if you've got a lot of plants dying around your house, if you can't grow grass, I lived with some people once, very negative people, and I was negative myself, so I won't put it all on them. We couldn't grow grass. We had the grass literally planted 4 or 5 times in a 2-year period, and it always died.
Oh, it was ridiculous.
Well, did they ever see a turnaround? Does your positive influence help help in that endeavor? Look at he's smiling. He's like, see right there. Those people were heroin junkies. Heroin junkies. Bummo says, good thing. That's the perfect mic to spew all of your shit into. Oh, Bummo, you're such a fucking loser. Are you a crystal freak? Maybe you should stop putting out that negative energy. You know, this is only going to come back on you. You're all, well, I'm not going to suffer for it. It's only going to be you.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane. All of this can affect your vibration and affect your love vibration. And we're going to be talking about this in depth. We're going to give you specific clues and keys on February 22nd, Love Fest 22.
So make sure to get those, buy your tickets early, kids. We're going to show you the secret to rubbing crystals on your body and finding enlightenment.
.com. If you have any desire to improve your relationship or to attract a specific person or to get engaged or married in 2022, then I urge you, before it's too late, sign up for lovefest22.com. Now, let me just say this.
Before all the spots are taken, we're going to have to check that out. It's lovefest22.com. We'll see if there's any slots open. See how much it costs.
Rachel can...
Maybe we can help Bummo out. Maybe Bummo will come back and we can show Bummo how they can sign up. It's tomorrow.
I was talking to sent out a letter on this earlier. We had so many people that tried to sign up.
Yeah, you people always love to get our secrets about building relationships, getting commitments, learning just really how to flow in love, and you guys kind of crashed our site. So we have fixed that issue with our servers and we are back up and running. So if you have tried to go to lovefest22.com and had issues, we have resolved those.
Yeah, it's going to be...
That WordPress crashed so fast. Hagbert says he has some Vincent Price on Vacation vibes. Good call. He does actually look a little bit like that. Big Paul says they went to the website and cut up his biopic. It's on Signal. Can't make it to Arizona tomorrow though. Too bad. Is it? I think it's a webinar. I think you can watch it remotely. I don't know.
An incredible, just an incredible evening. It's live, but we will, we will replay it for 72 hours afterward.
But here's the thing. If they don't register now, they're not going to be able to get that replay because we do have a limited number of tickets we are selling to keep our group small because we understand energy. We understand that when you have a set number.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. That's what it's about. It's about that. It's not creating false scarcity. Yeah, it's totally about that. It's totally about understanding energy and your chakras, whatever the fuck they say, but where you can stick crystals for maximum pleasure, for maximum manifestation.
In your group, that allows for a specific energy that you can raise your vibration to be able to send it out to that many specific people. And that's what we do in these events is that we prepare ourselves. Robert and I have already started this journey of Love Fest 2022 tongue twister, and our energy is going to be able to affect X number of people, and we know that and we understand that. So that's why
it's a big responsibility. It's not a joke, okay? It's not a fucking joke. Wish you guys would just take this more seriously, goddammit.
Host these events in a way that you have to register for them because they're so much more energetically effective when we do it that way.
Yeah. So, excuse me, if it has to do with love, you're going to want to attend lovefest22.com, but you want to register as soon as possible. We set it up on that date because the number 2 represents couples.
Oh.
Right? Couples.
Wow, see, everything's in alignment. These people are no slouches. All right, we're gonna finish watching the video, but first, let's check out this The latest cut from Big Paul. Big Paul he watches the stream and he goes and finds the characters that we're talking about. He likes to make little pieces of art. This is his latest one. Unlock that love trigger. Unlock that love trigger, everybody. Do it now. Register now. Register now. Okay? That's an NFT. That's the new hottest NFT right there. That's what all the kids are going to want to buy. That's what all the Love Fest people are going to want. They're really going to want to get in on those gains right now. Right now.
So 2 is a sign of couples. And here we have the year 2022. On the second month, on the 22nd day. I mean, we have an incredible period there. And I believe...
He's like, that's 3 2s. That's 6.
And I say this in all honesty to you, that no matter what you've tried or what you've been doing, when you attend Love Fest 22, what's going to happen is the next day, you're going to see a change. I want you to expect a miracle, nothing less. If your relationship is okay, it's going to get better. If it's good, it's going to get great. If you're separated, there's a good chance you're going to get back together quickly.
If you just come to our seminar. All right, let's skip ahead a little bit. Let's see. I know they start answering questions, it looks like. So we'll check out a few of those.
Yeah, just punch it. Punch it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hit
which
it.
one.
Yeah, right here.
Deborah.
I would like to know about whether it is bad to watch tarot cards. Does it affect our manifestation? Well, the answer is it can affect your manifestation because it's kind of like listening to your friends or listening to your family. And if the tarot cards don't tell you what you desire to hear, then you've had a negative thought implanted in your mind. And so you must find an experienced tarotist. I have taught tarot for over 35 years, but I don't use it as a fortune-telling tool. I use it as a tool for personal empowerment and to help you raise your vibration.
I mean, how else is he supposed to make decisions, you know? Do we go see this movie? Let's take it to the cards.
And get in alignment with what you desire.
I think a lot of people spend energy with tarot readers because they want to know what the future holds. And they forget that they are what holds the future. You are the one that makes the choices, that creates your own reality. And a tarot reading can tell you where your energy is at in the moment. But the moment you leave that tarot reader, you can make a different choice, shift your energy, shift your beliefs, and you'll have a different outcome than what the tarot readings had said 5 minutes ago.
Couldn't the same thing apply to manifestation techniques and crystals and energy? I mean, you could say the same thing about that in terms of it's like the way that you interpret, the way that you perceive the readings. You can kind of take away whatever you want out of those things.
Yeah. My relationship on being permanent would start on Valentine's Day. No, your relationship as far as a permanent relationship with your specific person starts right now, right this moment. This is what you're not going to start creating it on Valentine's Day.
No, you got to wait until you come to the seminar. You come to the seminar, we're going to provide you the tools to get it done. Okay, Mike?
You're going to start right now. And then you're going to join us for Love Fest 22, and you're going to learn how to amplify that.
See?
You're going to learn secrets that we don't share on YouTube and we don't share commonly because these secrets are
They're too powerful. They're too powerful for the common person. You have to be, chakra level 7. If you're not chakra level 7, I don't even know if they'll allow them entry. Would they even allow them to come in? Could be dangerous. Could be fucking dangerous.
very, very powerful. But when you apply them, it'll make a huge difference in your relationship. So right now,
See, the nominal fee of the tickets is just basically showing us that you're ready to take the next step. It's something concrete and practical. We've been manifesting your money in our bank account for the past year.
we don't wait till the future. Thank you, Robert and Rachel, for helping me along the journey. That's what we're here for. We love helping people manifest money, success, happiness, joy. But
Well, only up to a point, though, Robert. You only like helping them up to a point, and then they have to give you money to get the rest of the information, the rest of the techniques.
most important, we really enjoy helping people manifest love. That's what it's all about. Look at the end of the day, on your last day on this earth, nobody ever says, I wish I would have spent more time at the office. But people do say, I wish I would have spent more time loving.
Wish I could have spent more time busting a nut.
How do I ignore my current reality? Well, if your current reality, you're sitting around staring at a wall or staring at your phone or waiting for a text or something, then you need to get up and go do something that is more productive than staring at your phone.
Like, come to Love Fest 2022 on February 22nd. All the twos really bring you out of your funk.
That's how you ignore your current reality.
Hagman says, or drugs? Yeah, really augment your reality.
Go for a run. Find a neighbor who needs help, take them to the grocery store. Do something that is empowering someone else to get your mind out of your current reality.
Yeah, you don't want to become obsessive. You being passionate is important. Being focused, knowing what you desire is important. But being obsessive is not a good thing. Not a good thing at all.
Not good at all, no.
Okay. So we will see you at lovefest22.com.
Well, we will, actually. Let's go check it out. Let's check out their website. Why not? Do they have a link here? They do. Thank goodness. So, here's their website, lovefest22.com, from Robert Zink, Miracle Mentor and Alchemy Success Coach. There it is. Sold on there. Oh, yeah. Let's get right in there. Turn love into something amazing. Join us. Register and join. Love Fest 22 is an intensive online retreat designed to help you make your love life amazing, wonderful, and spectacular. Oh, yeah. Here are some of the speakers. Rachel Zink, Robert Zink, Sheena Shah, Agd Kochel, Felicity Perosissian. That's a mouthful. This is not an ordinary webinar. All right. Well, let's see. Let's see what it would cost. What would it cost to go to this webinar? Register and join. $75.95. Now there are tickets available. Love Fest 22 will transform your love life. Learn the ancient secrets of the law of attraction as it is applied to your love life. About this event, something amazing. Only you. Register and join. All the same stuff. So, $75.95. It's pretty steep. That's a lot of money. Hagmer says digital key party. Yeah, it's just a Zoom call, and then everybody flicks their bean, strokes their pole, while holding crystals. See, tickets. Are they available? Oh, yeah, there's tickets available. Let's see if we wanted to get 5 tickets. Still available. Yeah, there's plenty of tickets available. So if you're really, 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 really interested in going, you still got a chance. There's still time. There's still time. Let's check out one more video from these folks. So we got some of the people that will actually be. See, like, looks like they've been just promoting this webinar for a while. I dare you to try these. From ignored to adored. Become magnetic. Okay, this is another. This is going to be like another infomercial, basically. But I'm curious as to what the other speakers are like. Oh, he's not wearing a fun Hawaiian shirt. He's wearing kind of a more cool, casual, business-like Hawaiian shirt in this one. This is one of the speakers, Felicity Parisian. Maybe we'll find Parisian. Maybe she'll say her name. Solve that mystery. I've manifested it. I've manifested how to properly pronounce her name, hopefully. Thinking about it, I see her name. I see it getting brighter and brighter. I am in that place. I've exhaled.
Hey everyone, Robert Zink here, your miracle mentor and alchemy success coach, along with Felicity Parisian from France today, and she is very
Parisian. I thought it'd be a little bit more. I thought there'd be a little flavor to it, but it's just kind of phonetic. Again, Robert, you wizard, you master.
very special. She does a lot of study into this whole concept of love and relationships, and she's done a lot of thinking about soulmates or special relationships. So, Felicity, let's talk about soulmate first. What is a soulmate?
Thank you, Robert. It's wonderful to be here with you today, and I'm very excited to be able to share what we have for you today. So, for all of us here on this video, what I'd really like to share with you is the love we can have, the love we can feel for a soulmate is pretty much the
She can't share too much, though. She can't share too much. You got to buy a ticket.
greatest love which we can feel for anything. Because that's the love which is going to create relationships, which is going to create life in itself, and which is going to create life which turns into more life. If there is union, which turns into marriage, which turns into children, etc. So a soulmate is somebody who we can really partner with. And for me, a soulmate is one soul living in two bodies that finally.
Okay. So I thought that was a twin flame, but
and a twin flame, yeah. Well, the soulmates can also be people.
He's like, listen, I got things I'm trying to sell. Could you please hit the keywords, please? Could you hit the words that are on the t-shirts, please? Thank you, Felicity.
Who really, really push your buttons as well, and who really get you to the highest version of who you are. Yeah. So
would you say you might have a karmic journey with the soulmate?
I think so, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
With a soulmate, absolutely. They will teach you lessons. They will teach you lessons, and you'll teach them lessons. And it's that exchange, that beautiful energy you have between the two of you. And most of the time, some of the lessons are not that easy to learn.
Right. So from solo, meaning alone, to soulmate.
Yeah.
That's a wonderful thing.
Yes, it is. Because
so from solo, which means by yourself, which means alone, to soulmates. Oh, wow. Very interesting.
is to be with a soulmate, to be with your special person, we first have to learn how to be alone, how to be happy to be alone. Yeah, that's really important. And here's the thing. One of the greatest forces which is going to shape the destiny of our lives is our decisions. So when we choose to take that time to be alone and to really concentrate on who we are and learn how to love ourselves, we're going to have a very different destiny to, for example, if we decide that we need to be with somebody else just to fill up our cup, just because we need to be with somebody else, just because we can't be alone.
Mm.
Yeah.
So there's obviously a magnetic attraction that takes place between soulmates. They feel like they have always known each other. There's definite signs and points of connection. If you're alone and maybe you've been through several relationships, maybe you've been through a bad marriage, um, and you've decided, okay, I'm done playing around. I don't want to be dating everybody under the sun anymore. I want my soulmate and I want to be with somebody and have a lifelong relationship. Where should you begin? How would you begin?
Love Fest 2022. That's where you should begin. Obviously, get your tickets now.
Well, in my opinion, the first relationship and the most important relationship we have with anybody in our lives is with ourselves. Because ultimately, we're the person who we're going to have to live with for the rest of our lives. Yeah. The second most important relationship is the one you're going to have with your special person, your soulmate, the person you're going to hitch your star to, let's say. So where do we begin? We begin from looking inside ourselves and putting ourselves first on that pedestal and learning how to love ourselves first. And once we learn how to love ourselves unconditionally, only then can we start putting our focus on meeting somebody and loving that person and receiving the soulmate. Because here's the thing, once we learn how to love ourselves and we become very complete in filling up our own cup with our own self-love, then we're going to attract somebody who's doing the same. Yeah. And that's going to be our soulmate.
And 2 full cups are, I can tell you from experience, 2 full cups are better than 1 full cup.
Going to be the person who's going to teach us our lessons and vice versa. But if we're not loving ourselves unconditionally, if we're not filling up our cup and really, really, truly taking care of ourselves, we're going to attract somebody who themselves doesn't know how to love themselves. And that's going to cause some kind of blockages, some kinds of rifts, some kind of misalignment in the relationship.
How the hell are you supposed to love somebody else if you don't love yourself? Come on now. We've all seen RuPaul's Drag Race.
Yeah, so if you're vibrating down here all alone and you're in a state of need and want and hunger and pain and everything else, that's likely what you're going to attract. Or if you do attract somebody up here, they're not going to want to be around you very long. So does that make sense? So what you want to do is get yourself up.
Yeah, if you're a miserable fuck, going to have a hard time finding a partner, finding somebody to be with. You're going to have to, you want the barrier to entry to be pretty low, especially these days.
Here, what are some physical things we can do to start raising our vibration?
Oh, that's a good one. Absolutely. Crystals.
Yeah, I love crystals. I have to tell you, and then I want you to answer that question.
Oh,
but I went into
I
was at the Tucson Gem and Rock Show, and they had a whole booth full of these crystals.
And I just bought a whole baggie of them. I laid them out on my bed, and me and Rachel, we got in there, we just laid on the crystals. Wonderful sexual experience without even touching each other. The energy was so profound. We were just coming and cooming. Beautiful night.
And I, of every size, I have some big ones and small ones. And I noticed that it just became obvious to me that, Rachel and I had been looking over the whole show, but during that time when we were in this booth, in the confines of this booth, we tended to be holding hands. And we tended to be talking more as lovers rather than as business partners.
See, this is what I'm talking about. This is the thing I'm talking about. They just look at every situation as an opportunity to read into something that probably isn't there. They just assign value, assign experience. Well, we were being nice to each other. Must have been because we were around so many crystals. Seems like an awful way to live your life. Seems like a way to just develop all type of neurotic, narcissistic misery. because you have all these, like, you're adding all these tools, all these mechanisms by which you're going to have to fulfill some kind of purpose for them so that you feel like it's working. And then if it doesn't work, if you just have a bad day, you can blame it on some external force. Like, oh shit, maybe we got to get the crystals recharged. Maybe we got to get that countertop done.
And so I bought the whole booth, everything. That's a little.
He's like, I'm a maniac. I bought it all, god damn it. He's like the Joker. This wizard.
Extreme.
That's great. It's an abundance of love.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's brilliant. Chris.
She's trying to manifest a man in her life that will buy every crystal at Tucson's gemstone extravaganza. She's trying to find a man that'll do the same thing. She's jealous. She's got feelings of jealousy. Sure, she's smiling, but behind these eyes, we see stress. We see loneliness. He's smiling. He's loving it. He's surrounded by crystals. He can't help but love right now. Whoever is willing to receive his vibrations, his energy, look out. Look out. Richard's got a crystal. He's got a crystal in his pants, or does he?
Crystals have this fabulous way of just magnetizing, just expanding energy.
Yes.
Absolutely beautiful without us having to do anything. It's great.
Yeah. Flowers.
Absolutely. And getting up, and here's the thing, getting a regular massage. Love yourself enough to get a regular massage. Yeah. Because the body has a way of just holding tension, holding past trauma, holding the trauma of past relationships, holding the trauma of past relationships where we were not with our soulmates. Yeah. And we want that kind of tension to release itself through the body. We can do that by getting a really nice deep tissue massage every week, as often as we can, and by doing exercise. And
just the most bougie people on the planet. Like, yeah, just go, buy these $80 webinar tickets, go spend thousands of dollars on fucking crystals, and make sure you get yourself, like a $100 massage at least once a week. Really just treat yourself.
Here's the thing, keeping a great posture. Because great posture has been scientifically proven that when we have a great posture, we actually rise in vibration, and our testosterone levels rise about 20%, be it whether we're male or female, it doesn't matter. And that increases the vibration in the body physiologically.
And people feel that energy from you.
Absolutely.
And they're scientifically proven. What does that mean? Do they have is like Dr. Crystal? Is he out there doing these experiments? Is he out there testing this thesis? Citation needed.
Attracted to it. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You've got one person who's got a really poor posture and one person who's got a really good posture. Both of them are standing in the same room saying nothing. One of them is going to be attracting people like bees to honey, and the other one is going to be repelling people.
So this is really about putting yourself, Felicity, back on the pedestal. Because at some point, you jumped off that pedestal. And maybe you put someone else on the pedestal. And
he's like, fucking mistake, bro. Fucking mistake. Don't ever put the pussy on a pedestal.
We're willing to live a life that wasn't really satisfying to you in your relationship because you had this person on the pedestal. And you felt like you would be nothing without this person. You can't live your life that way. That isn't a healthy way to live your life.
Absolutely. And like in every relationship, it's two equals. It's a beautiful energy. It's a beautiful partnership between two people. And there is no king without a queen. And there is no queen really without a king. So if there's one person on the pedestal and the other one is kicked off the pedestal, it's not an equal relationship.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
What about
they just get to talk about stuff in such vague, unhelpful terms. How much longer do they go on? They don't answer anybody's questions. I think we got pretty much what we're going to get from them with that video. Because they're they just kind of say the same thing over and over and over again in different ways. So good night to you, Robert. Good luck, Robert and Rachel Zink Inspiring videos uploaded weekdays, 6 a.m. Eastern. Oh, they're early to rise, too. Full of positive energy. Not really much else on the channel. I mean, it's all the same shit. It's going to be the same thing over and over and over and over again. What do we got here? So this is another one Tarami sent me, actually. PTSD treatment. How to heal from inside out. Another one of these self-help gurus. This lady's got a headset on. She's down for business. Very serious. See how it goes. Most dreams. Dream with me, won't you?
Today, I'm speaking with Lauren Dolly Duke. She is an author, an educator, a healer, an entrepreneur, and a community activist. She's written a memoir called Shithouse, which is really going over her childhood experience and how she was able to heal the trauma of that and how you can do that too. So enjoy. Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to the podcast for this week. This week, it promises to be a very real, raw, and inspiring podcast. I have with me today the author.
I don't know. We'll find out. Hold on. Let's check. I want to check this channel out a little bit. She has 44.4K subs. This video has 672 views. It's just from a few days ago, too.
Of the book called Shithouse, a memoir.
So glad you're saying it. Thank you.
Don't you like it with the Australian accent? Ah, shithouse.
Yes. Oh my God, please say it like that.
So I have Lauren Dolly Duke with me. How are you, Lauren?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me. And it's so refreshing to hear you say the title because, you know, I'm just coming off of a news show and a radio show where they could not say the name of the book. So that was like, I was like, well, how is anyone going to find it?
Yeah.
But so thank you. We can swear here. Great.
We're allowed to swear.
Oh, yeah, she's Australian. This lady loves to swear. She likes to fight. She likes to drink. She likes to swear. I've seen Crocodile Dundee. I think I've seen all of the Crocodile Dundee movies, so I can confirm this for sure.
Is shit really a bad word? I don't know. It's part of everyday vernacular these days, I think.
It's all what you put into it. You know, it's like, it's all the meaning that we've made behind these words. It just means messy.
That's right. Well,
Well, then maybe you should have called your book Messy House if you wanted them to say it on the radio. Huh? Just kidding.
So your memoir, the recount of your life is, I mean, messy doesn't even come close to your story, and I think even though my situation wasn't anywhere near yours, I think that by telling your story, there's a lot of us will be able to take nuggets and pieces from that and go, yeah, even though that wasn't my situation, I can see this situation with my parents or my relationship with my parents or how I felt about how they did step up, didn't step up, you know, that kind of thing. So I think it's a really important story to share. So we should just start with, you know, maybe a overview of the inspiration behind Shithouse.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just like everything else, it's a process and it was an evolution. And I got to a place in about 2015. Yep. 7 years. So right about now in 2015, I had been struggling with symptoms from PTSD. I was having a variety of health issues, lots of stomach issues, you know, stress, and there was just a lot in my body that needed to come out. And I love writing. I always knew that since I was a teenager that I would write this book. And I just got to a place where really the motivation was like self-inquiry, like, oh God, if I don't get this out of me and figure out what is happening to me, I don't know that I'm going to survive. And also my PTSD symptoms were so bad that my life felt really crazy, really chaotic, and completely intolerable. I couldn't drive a car anymore. It had gotten very, very small and contracted and controlled in my world.
This is Amendum's ex-wife.
Anyone who's struggling with trauma.
Not really. Not really. Prophet says PTSD. Was she in Iraq? I don't think so. I think we're going to be talking about the her childhood experiences, if I'm not mistaken. I guess we'll see.
Which most of the population is struggling with trauma. Some dysfunction of the nervous system would also agree with that. That when you have this sort of thing going on,
she looks like Ashley Babbitt. Maybe Ashley Babbitt lives.
Reality gets really small. So in an effort to get better, I just started to write. And as I was writing, I started to feel better, and it was catharsis. And it was like solving this unsolvable riddle. And all of a sudden things started to make more sense to me. I was kind of excavating all of this like old stuff, which was also quite challenging. But luckily I have an amazing support system, and I was going through therapy simultaneously. And as I was doing this, and again, I had all of these like puzzle pieces in the right spot with me at this time, and had the support to help me make sense of my story. But yeah, like through the inquiry of it, I started to feel better. And I also started to discover all sorts of things about my family members, about my mother, my father, their mothers, their fathers. And I began to recognize that, wow, this isn't even the things that I've done that I was feeling so ashamed of isn't even my fault. This came from my parents, and it's actually not even their fault. It came from their parents. And that's the transgenerational trauma piece. Sometimes we look at that word trauma or generational trauma, and it seems like such a big, scary word, but it's actually not. It's like the things that have happened to us and the things that we've learned and we believed have been really passed down to us by our parents without them even recognizing they're doing it. They don't even have an awareness that they're doing it.
Right.
That's why I always say it's inevitable that you'll fuck up your children, so, but through that process, I really recognize like, oh my gosh, these people are just human. They're just imperfect. They're fallible, and I can't be mad at them anymore. And that.
So this is called becoming an adult. In layman's terms, becoming an adult, taking an inventory of your life, trying to understand yourself better, being introspective. How did I turn out the way I did? How did they turn out the way they did? And so on and so forth. That's a good thing to do. I wouldn't shit on that. It's a good thing to do. I would not shit house on that. Obviously it's a good thing to do, and usually you are in the midst of some sort of crisis when it happens, or some big life change that forces you to really start thinking about yourself on a deeper level. And I think they're going to talk about that for a half hour. See how much. We might skip around. We might skip around on this one.
That is when I really recognized I need to share this book, because so many people are struggling with what I'm struggling with, which is something doesn't make sense. Something is inside of them that feels unbearable, but they're afraid to go near it, and it wreaks havoc all over their life. And
it's because they don't got no goddamn crystals. You gotta get yourself some crystals. You gotta align those energies. You gotta start manifesting things. Start working out that manifestation muscle. There you go, Robert. Sign me up. Give me a job. I'll be one of your speakers at your seminars.
There is a way. It's not just, my path was writing and yoga, but there's all sorts of things that people can do to kind of release the pressure valve on their bodies, because our stories are like asking to be told through our symptoms, essentially.
Right. Well, with a lot of the work that I do with Mind Movies and with our community, and actually one of my coaching calls this morning was specifically talking about this. So it's interesting that we're having this conversation. Is that, we can look at some of our behaviors, some of our trauma, some of, patterns.
What are these, her coaching calls? Is she a therapist or a doctor, or is she just like a guru? I don't know. You got to be like in a real desperate place to just call a random guru for life advice. Not to necessarily say it's necessarily a good or a bad thing, but Man, what have you exhausted to get here?
and things that are showing up for us. And it's easy for us to go, yeah, well, I had a shitty childhood, and so I can see why this is happening. But we have to excavate a little deeper than that. So what was your process of being able to go, well, yeah, I do this because this is modeled by my parents or because of these events that happened in my life. But then how did you get underneath that to really get to a place of healing?
Yeah. So the writing process is also it's complex and it's interesting. And so as I started to dig, and this is the fascinating thing about how your brain works as well. One thing will lead to another thing. And so our bodies have this really remarkable and intelligent way of storing information inside of us and compartmentalizing it so that way we don't need to look at it. But it doesn't mean that it's not there, because it's all there. It's literally just dissociated and hidden. And this is also why people get these like mysterious diseases because there is shit living inside of you that is like been lodged somewhere. And so when I started to go near one thing, I started to remember lots of other things. And that's how memory goes. It's like, it's almost like a domino effect. Like one thing tapped another thing, tapped another thing, tapped another thing. And it was incredibly re-traumatizing. So as I was going through this process, I had to get a team in place for me. And so I was going through EMDR therapy at the same time. So I was going through trauma therapy. And I was going.
See, it's kind of confusing without like more context in terms of like what she experienced as a child. Like, is she talking about kind of a normal childhood and she's kind of just overly sensitive, or was she abused? Like, without knowing that, it's really hard to contextualize what she's saying. She's like, well, I was in EMR therapy and I had a whole team. I had to get a whole team to go through this introspection. I don't know. I did not read her memoir, so I don't know.
I had a trauma therapist, an SE therapist, a massage therapist, a Rolfer, a cranial sacral therapist. I mean, like,
what does your husband do for a living, woman?
I had a whole social matrix of people that were here to support me along the journey, because I couldn't have done this alone, because what I was going through and what I was tapping into and uncovering, like I said, it was re-traumatizing. I had one experience where, I was getting into the writing and I was actually up in Ojai and I started having a panic attack. And I was like, we need to go back to Encinitas, because that was still my main home at the time. And I couldn't even be out in public. And at this time, my therapist said, you need to stop writing and you need to stop doing therapy and you need to integrate what you've uncovered.
Right.
And we don't need to dig any deeper right now. We don't need to do any more work right now. All we need to do is integrate and process and metabolize just piece by piece, like eating a cake. You don't eat the whole cake at once. You eat the cake piece by piece. And so that's why this memoir took me 7 years to write.
Prophet says, I get why black women hate white women. Well, it seems like wealthy ones anyways.
Because I also had things take the time they take. And that is what it takes to really do deep work. It takes time, and it takes a network of people who are going to stand by you and support you as you go through this process and you get shitty, because you do get shitty. Like, I was a fucking asshole at times, but that's because I didn't have any space for anyone or anything else. I was just going through my own process of like uncovering all these things that happened to me, and then having to go through the process of grief and acceptance, and like, there's so much, but it's worth it. Because on the other side of it, I can drive my car, I can be in loud environments, I can go to concerts, like all these things that literally 10 years ago I could not do.
Right.
Why could you not do them? They're gonna have to dig a little bit deeper into this woman's story. Like, for all I know, she could have like this really intense, really abusive past. And you could say, it would make sense. You could contextualize what she's saying. But I swear to God, if she's just some lady who grew up in the suburbs, whose parents like were a little too strict or whatever, come on now.
it is interesting how we can have these, traumas or experiences, but they do get stored in the body.
Yeah.
So what were some of the symptoms that were showing up for you?
Yeah. So this is interesting because this is my work now. I have done the SE training, the somatic experiencing training. And so, the things that happen to us, they actually do happen to a body. And so all of my SE trainings, I'll get to your question in a second, but all of my SE trainings were so fascinating because they all had, I did them, I did all these different cohorts because it was during COVID. And so I got this opportunity to do them kind of internationally and around the country and study with different people. In every training, 99% of the people on these trainings were psychotherapists because they're recognized that the cognitive behavioral therapy that they're doing, it's not enough. Right. It is going through the content of a story over and over again without addressing where it actually lives, which is inside the body, is just re-traumatizing people.
Right.
That is why all of these therapists are all turning towards the body and understanding what trauma really is, which is a dysfunction of the nervous system. Okay, how is it manifesting for me, my nervous system not being regulated? I had hemorrhoids, which that's a scary thing. I don't even need to get into it, but so many people that tell me that they're going through this, I'm like, yeah, nervous system dysfunction. Like we're living in a culture of people who have dysfunctional nervous systems, essentially, but calling it trauma and not really understanding what it is. And I was really sensitive to light. I was having irritable bowel syndrome. I couldn't drive a car. I was having chronic panic attacks and freezing in other situations and fainting, passing out. I mean, literally my nervous system was so dysregulated that I couldn't live my life. Not only was I having these kind of like mental,
yeah, but like what led you there? And why did you start trying to seek help? This is like kind of like an abstract conversation. It's like an anonymous conversation. Like she could be talking about anybody rather than talking about herself. But the whole point of this would be to be personal, so that other people maybe find comfort or that they're not alone, etc. I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's going to go there though.
Breakdowns. They were working on a continuum with my body, and I was having so many physical symptoms that you could literally see it in my face. Like my face was like scrunched up because I had become so sensitive to everything from having this, dysregulated nervous system that I couldn't even be like in Whole Foods that had bright lights because it was triggering for me. It was, I was in a very reactionary state.
Why?
Yeah. So if you're listening to this podcast, I highly recommend that you purchase the book. It's called Shithouse, a memoir. And you'll get to see, I don't want to call them highlights, let's call them lowlights of events that you went through as a child, and which were just harrowing. I suppose I want to ask, like, because you're doing this work, and I think for a lot of people when they go, okay, I have to look at, for me it was my mother leaving when I was 3. And for the longest time, I'm like, that didn't affect me. I don't even remember it. Like, let's look at my stepmother. She messed me up. Let's just look at her. Like, let's blame her for everything. Because I think what my whole nervous system and everything was like, I don't want to experience that the way that I did when I was 3. That's what scares the poop out of you. You're like, I don't, if I go there, I don't know if I can ever come back. Right?
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
Well, the interesting thing about SE work, somatic experiencing work, is it's not necessarily, we're trained to basically be expert readers of the nervous system. So like I can look at someone and see so much that they don't even understand in themselves.
Expert readers of a nervous system by like getting a certificate from online seminars?
Because I understand what a nervous system does and how the way that it regulates. It could be the way your skin flushes. It could be the way your eyes dilate. It could be what's happening with the striated muscles of your neck and face. Like I can see your pulse. And I mean, just so many things that I can see that you can't see. So we're not necessarily so interested in the content of story, because content of story that people are replaying out, again, it triggers whatever, could be sympathetic, could be freeze response, parasympathetic in the nervous system. But the cool thing about SE is we are just basically trained to finesse a nervous system back to baseline without getting into the content of a story. And so that's why I think that the work is so powerful. But you should work with someone either who isn't a psychotherapist, like either use a psychotherapist who also understands SE work, because that person is trained in a bunch of different areas, or get yourself the most badass SE practitioner ever, because I do think it's really important to not only understand the psychology of what's happening, but also the physiology of what's happening. So I think,
yeah, sure, like your stress response, how it manifests in your body. Like, of course, is this really like a untrodden territory? I mean, I don't know. When I did my own years of introspection, I had to do it all alone. So I never got any professional help.
I think, it's important to have both, but you're going to go near, when your system is basically triggered, it starts to play out all these different ways to protect you. And then you don't want to go near, that feeling. But if you have a support system, and that's what I really did, like, you can do it a little at a time. And that's why I was talking about, like, eating the cake, little at a time. And the process in SE, that's one of the most, or a word in SE that's one of the most important words, is called titration. And titration is a chemistry term, and it literally means
we have reappropriated it for somatic experience work.
A lot of time.
Right.
It's like putting oil in water. It's like you just see it drip down just a little at a time.
So when you say a little at a time, are you talking about uncovering a little bit at a time, or healing a little bit at a time? What
so uncovering usually is the precipice to healing and processing. So like the first landmark would be awareness. And so like if me and you are having a conversation, and all of a sudden you start talking about something and you don't realize that you're getting close to it, but I can see, because you start waving your hands, or you have fists, which is a fight response, and you're like, and then like, I will stop it right there, and then we will wait and work together and try to finesse the nervous system back down to baseline. Pause. What are you feeling? And we just work with the sensations in the body without necessarily, like, sometimes just like pulling the nervous system, kind of siphoning the energy back down to baseline where it's never been, will prevent that person from continuing to go through that spiraled cycle.
And how do you do that? Like, what's the process of doing that? Some people are just a little more high-strung than others.
It's just like they're stuck up here because they haven't been able. What goes up in this situation, in terms of our physiology, what goes up needs to come back down.
Right.
If it's up, you're just going to be in a constant state of like irritation and repeating.
And those loops can last for years, like
years and years, a lifetime.
That we don't even.
Oh my God! Okay, sure. I'm gonna skip ahead. I'm skipping ahead. I'm jumping ahead.
So when you can get to that place of like compassion and understanding, it's like, okay, now I can release this for myself.
Yeah, and I think another piece of all of the healing work that I think is really essential is doing inner child work and really seeing everyone as an inner child, like, because that's what everyone is. Everyone is just basically like a pissed off 6-year-old, and when that is manifesting out as an adult, whatever it is, it's like that's what it is. It's still your inner kid. You might look different on the outside. You may have had a child, you may have had like a lot of life experience, but you're still just this like kid that wants what they want when they want it.
Yeah, you don't have emotional maturity. That's what you're describing. And people that have not learned ways to cope with their lives and their experiences often act out, even physically. Yes. I don't know if this is quite as revelatory as maybe the author of Shithouse Memoir feels it is. Maybe I'm just, just an old fuddy-duddy.
And yeah, I mean, I really like, I look at my mom and I see everything that she didn't have and all the ways that, I mean, she did it wrong. Okay. Like, but it's all she knew how to do. And I wouldn't take, like, sometimes people read my story or they hear anything about my life and they're like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I am not sorry. I have done and been through so many hard things that I can do anything. Like, I feel kind of unstoppable, which my husband thinks is insane. Like, he would, it's like an amazing quality of mine. And also it's kind of slightly scary as well.
She's like, I have new problems, new neuroses.
But I wouldn't take any of it back. Like, everything that I went through, it built me. It built me being able to write this book and being able to lead for others and being able to start my business and build my business and grow my business. And also self-promote. Like, a lot of people have a really hard time with that, but because of what I've been through, like, I know I have something to share, and I am a relentless self-promoter. I'm going to keep doing it because I have a message. Like, my message is a movement, and that movement really is, like, if you take a deep, hard look at your life and you can look at kind of the whole complexity of things and the whole cosmology of things, you're going to understand yourself more. And when you understand yourself more, it will help kind of guide you where you need to go, rather than being someone who's a victim of your circumstance. You're not. You're a legend, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, watch out. You don't want to let Gary in Mendham, you don't want him to catch wind of this. People working through things, he'd be very upset. He'd be like, that's bullshit, man. That's bullshit. You're stupid.
And that's the thing, being able to look at our experience, like the same thing for me. Like, what I went through in my childhood taught me resilience and independence. And
that's what we need.
And courage, like, which is, and it depending on what you believe. But one of my beliefs is I do believe in reincarnation. I do believe that we.
Here we go. Here we go. Now we're getting a little wacky. I do believe in reincarnation. Give me them crystals. Give me a banana, mate.
We come back in again, and that we choose our parents. Now, I struggled with that for a while because I'm like,
oh my God. She chose her parents. She chose her bad parents.
My mother left when I was 3. How did I choose her? But, when you kind of, like you were saying before, you become the observer and you sit back and you're looking at from the 30-foot view of all the pieces that go in, and not just what's happening in this lifetime, but what's happening in previous generations, then it helps you to understand that, this is I kind of chose this. So do you feel, because of the experience that you had, that you're now getting to live your purpose or live your mission?
I mean, yes, for sure. Yes. Something.
Do you believe in reincarnation, Lauren? Do you believe in reincarnation?
Something. I mean, it's interesting because the more I learn, the more I know, the more I realize I don't know shit. And, I've studied a lot of Buddhism, and I've studied a lot of yoga philosophy, and I'm not even really sure where I land on the spectrum of, like, do we come back? I don't really know. But something good happened for me that I feel really grateful. I found an amazing partner. I have the best dog. Like, I just feel like I'm living my dream life, and I would.
Yeah. I don't begrudge people figuring out their shit and doing anything that you can to do that. I really don't. But these people make it seem so insufferable. It's like they overcomplicate it. It's like this person, Lauren, was such a neurotic mess. She couldn't even go into stores. Like, you probably had something a little bit deeper seated wrong with you that maybe you needed that extra help. And now you're like looking to what? I don't know. Sell some sort of guru lifestyle. Natalie here, you can get her on call. She can talk to you about reincarnation, how you chose your circumstances. I don't know. I don't know about this.
Wouldn't take any of it back. And there is some sort of divine intervention that put me here to write this book, because, you know, so many people they're like, oh, and this quote, and I'm like, where did that come from? And they're like, it's from your book. I'm like, oh, I don't even, because you know what I mean? Like it just feels like it came through me. Like, this is definitely my destiny, my purpose. And I don't know where it's going to go, but I do know that, you know, it needs to be living in the world, because it's not just my story. It's all of our story. You know, we are shitty, messy, shithouse people. And like, I can't remember what the saying is. And I think it was Cheryl Strayed, but it's something like, you know, life will make you like dirty and, you know, honest and ultimately free, because it's like so many things happen to us, and some of them are dreadful and some of them are joyful, and they make us, you know. And hopefully, like, I don't know what we're doing to our current generation, because I feel like we're all trying to make up with our kids for what happened to us, and so we're coddling them. And I'm afraid, actually, I don't know how that's going to affect the next generation, because I don't know, I call it the corporal punishment that I experienced growing up, or like my rough childhood, but I can get through things. Whereas, like, I know some people whose kids had very entitled upbringings, and they haven't really been through anything, and everything was handed to them, and life is really hard for them. So, you know, everyone needs to be like slapped around a little and go through some rough shit.
Yeah, it's called perspective. You need to gain perspective. It's something that hopefully as you get older and you have more experience, you go out in the world, you meet more people, you should be able to kind of figure that out yourself, I guess. Not to say that some people don't need more help than others. Wouldn't suggest that. And I don't know this woman's story because she doesn't fucking tell us anything. She just said, oh, it's very harrowing. What does that mean?
To be able to make it out on the other side. I mean, it's the Phoenix Rising, you know. Yeah. Here we are.
Exactly. So what I love about this conversation is the place of evolution that you've got to, or the place of awareness that you've got to. Because like we said earlier, like a lot of people, you know, they had terrible childhood, so they play the blame game. When we're blaming someone outside of us, we have no power to do anything about it. And so when we can, you know, understand, have this, you know, this awareness, this knowing, and then be able to get to a place of forgiveness, it frees us in a way that you can't even imagine until you get there.
Yeah, you gotta let it go. Gotta let it go. It sucks. Bad things happen to you. People do bad things to you. You gotta let it go. I can't do any more of that. Can't do any more of that. That's the end of the road for that. Holy shit. Oh my goodness. So what are we gonna look at now? Let's go back to this law of attraction. Let's find some counterpoints. Law of attraction debunked. Let's look. That one's kind of long. Fact or fiction? Josh Homme talking about the law of attraction. Actually, he ends up talking about Esther Hicks. Esther Hicks is another one of these law of attraction self-help guru type people that presents herself as a medium. Like she gets possessed by the spirit of Abraham. It exists inside her, and he comes and speaks through her to give people life advice. I don't know if we're going to watch an Esther Hicks video, because last time I did, they got my channel, they caused a suspension. They found the video, and then they did a hard copyright strike. I think it was the first one I ever got was from them. And I even talked to their lawyer, or whoever said they were their lawyer, and they were just like a real dick about it. They would not release the claim. But let's see here. Let's see what we got here. So this is called by, what's this channel? Steve Bancars. It's from a couple years ago. Debunking the law of attraction. Let's see what he has to say. See if our opinions line up with his.
Hey guys, Steve here. In this video we're going to cover one of the most prominent philosophies taught in the New Age movement, a philosophy that's even began to work its way into the Christian church, namely the law of attraction. In this video we're going to ask the question, is it possible that the law of attraction is actually a deception? And if so, what do we do with the apparent success stories? And doesn't the Bible say things like, seek and you shall find, the power of life and death is in the tongue, ask and...
So is this a Christian debunking? I just want to see. I don't know anything about this guy's channel, so let's look at it. We'll look at it together. The second coming of the New Age, reasonforjesus.com. Okay, so this is explicitly Christian. I don't know if we want to go there. I don't know if that would really serve us very well. So let's go. There's another one. The Law of Attraction, Fact or Fiction. About the same length. Let's try that one out. I just don't want to listen to a bunch of Bible quotes and a dude just being like, well, this is what it says, but that's a misinterpretation. You're actually drinking the devil's juice.
It begins with a seemingly simple, innocent idea. That thinking positive will bring about positive experiences into
So now we got some production value going. Now we're watching a real fucking video.
One's life. With mainstream promotion of the idea, with celebrities promoting it, entire careers based around teaching it, surely there's merit to the law of attraction. But the further you go down that rabbit hole...
The last person? That's Esther Hicks. Oh, hold on. Ooh. Now I'm not going to be able to find it. Come on. There she is. That's Esther Hicks, a.k.a. Abraham.
But the further you go down that rabbit hole, the less innocent things become.
I had friends that were telling me that the secret is real.
Law of attraction, manifestation, how to effectively manifest your dream life.
It's an idea heavily promoted by self-help communities, an idea that some become completely identified with. The law of attraction is no longer a fringe concept. It very much has successfully infiltrated the mainstream. In this two-part series, I'll be investigating the law of attraction as both an idea and the profitable industry behind it. Because what begins as an innocent idea that most can get behind quickly turns into a tool for gaslighting, cults, and material harm.
And when he said cults, I'm pretty sure he showed Esther Hicks' YouTube channel there. It's an opinion-based documentary, don't you know?
This video was helped made possible by our sponsor, Trends, which to those of you who are...
Goodbye.
It's important that before we fully begin to understand the problems with the law of attraction, we understand what its fundamental claims and beliefs are. And so allow me to give you an overview, as unbiased as I can possibly be.
Do it.
Everything in the universe is energy, moving and vibrating on their own frequencies.
The great Tao flows everywhere, both to the left and to the right.
And so too are our thoughts and feelings. Whatever frequency your thoughts and feelings are vibrating at, you will attract that of which is vibrating on the same frequency. Just like tuning into a radio station, where when tuned to a certain frequency, we can hear only the songs that are being played on that frequency. Your life is much the same. When you set your intentions into the universe and you begin to think and feel on the same vibrations as that of which you desire, it is that of which vibrates on the same frequency that you will attract and manifest into your life. Whether it's wealth, happiness, or relationships, it is by thinking and feeling as though these things are already yours that you will begin attracting these things into your life. You've done it yourself. Remember those moments where you had a goal or set intention in mind, and seemingly out of nowhere the right person appeared at the right time and place that helped you inch closer to or achieve that goal? When things just seemingly aligned in the universe, where random occurrences like meeting your best friend by chance couldn't just be explained by luck alone. The truth is, you manifested these things into your life. Isn't that a powerful thing? To know that by aligning your thoughts and feelings to that of which you want, you can manifest and make those things a reality. And just as positive thoughts and feelings attract positive manifestations towards you, so too will negative thoughts and feelings. When your predominant thoughts and feelings are of debt, relationship issues, and negativity, you will attract those things into your life. The truth is that you can change your reality by changing your thoughts and feelings. The world is abundant with joy, love, and peace. Align your thinking and your feeling with that abundance. Leave the clutches of scarcity thinking, and your life too will be filled with abundance.
true, you know. Oprah told me so. Jim Carrey said so.
Before we tackle this idea and the problems it creates, it's first important to understand what makes it so alluring. Positive thinking, the idea that you can change your life circumstances by changing your thoughts and your feelings, visualizing those goals that you have for yourself, truly being able to see clearly what it is that you want from life. These things are not necessarily bad. It's important before we continue that we make this distinction. Positive thinking, having set goals, visualizations, affirmations, meditating, they all have their own place. But that isn't what I'm talking about here. The law of attraction takes these things and adds an element of spirituality to it all. For some of you, the law of attraction already comes off as absurd, but understand that its popularity and the money that flows in this industry is eye-watering. When you have people making so much money off something like this, then it's worth investigating the ideologies these individuals promote, don't you think? Because at the heart of this all lies a bigger problem, a problem that underpins self-help, gurus, new age spirituality, and success itself. To those of you that already believe in the law of attraction or things of that nature and are not willing to have your belief questioned or criticized, then I would advise not continuing. My only question now is, how willing are you to follow me down this rabbit hole?
You'd have to be pretty insecure, I would imagine, not to continue watching this video. And since, you know, while we have been enraptured by Robert the Wizard, I'm going to give this guy a chance, okay? I'm going to give him a shot.
The law of attraction has a central claim to its belief, that your thoughts and feelings vibrate on a frequency and that this vibration is able to, quote, attract vibrations of a similar frequency. The burden of proof then falls on LOA believers to show that such a statement is true. So, is it? After all, wasn't it Einstein who said, everything is energy and that's all there is to it? Match the frequency of the reality you want and you cannot help but get that reality. It can be no other way. This is not philosophy, this is physics. Except, he never did. Despite the quote being cited amongst law of attraction believers, these words were never actually uttered by Einstein. Although,
is this the scientific principles they keep mentioning? Something like this? Like, well, the science says, you know, if you stand up straight, you know, you got better posture, the energy can flow even better, and your manifestations will be that much more effective, that much more powerful.
Just a small example, this subtle deceit and distortion of the facts seems to be a recurring theme the more you dive into the law of attraction. Pseudoscience consists of statements, beliefs, or practices that try to claim legitimate bearings in science using words like law or vague references to quantum science to make it sound valid. Of course, pseudoscience specifically fails to comply with the scientific method, which is what turns it into pseudoscience in the first place. It cannot be proven. But deceit can be rather easy in the age of the internet. A quick Google search of "do your thoughts and feelings have a frequency" will produce an answer box that states, every thought and emotion has its own vibrational frequency or wavelength. The title of this article is The Quantum Mechanics of Changing Thoughts. But if one was to investigate further, we see that the article was written by, quote, Dr. Kim and Dr. Hill, who are both authors of the site itself. On their site, they state that, quote, together they have over 20 qualifications in holistic modalities including biofeedback, neuro-linguistic programming, Tibetan Buddhism psychology, hypnosis, energy psychology, coaching, visualization, and meditation. Note, however, the lack of a scientific background. More specifically, the lack of any qualifications in physics and quantum physics. When looking back at the original article...
What, certificates don't mean anything to you? Do you trust welders? Science man?
We see that it is filled with assumptions and easily falsifiable claims. The original article also contains a sublink to another article titled, quote, Quantum Mechanics and Your Authentic Potential. In this article, they make reference to a study by Dr. Masaru Emoto. Emoto's study is commonly cited when attempting to prove the scientific basis for the law of attraction, or the idea that thoughts and feelings...
Perfect. This is exactly what we're looking for. Perfect.
are able to affect the physical world. Emoto claimed that our emotional energies and vibrations could change the physical structure of water. His experiments consisted of exposing water in glasses to different words, pictures, or music, and then freezing and examining the crystals that formed. Emoto claimed his experiments showed that water exposed to positive speech and thoughts would result in visually pleasing crystals being formed when the water was frozen, and that negative...
It's like the slime. It's like the ooze from Ghostbusters 2. You know?
Thoughts and intentions would yield to ugly, frozen crystal formations. Emoto's original double-blind study of this experiment included co-researchers Dean Radin, Gail Hayson, and Takashige Kizu. The study was then published in the journal Explore, the Journal of Science and Healing. So, was Emoto really onto something? Once more, a level of deceit lies beyond the surface. Dean Radin, a participant in Emoto's study, is also the co-editor-in-chief of the journal Explore, the Journal of Science and Healing, the very same journal that the studies were published in. And Explore has been heavily criticized by the scientific community for the content it publishes, described as a
Yeah, I'd have to say so. If that guy works for this journal, and he's doing studies that get into the journal, yes. Seems like there would be something a little suspect there.
Sham masquerading as a real scientific journal. Emoto's initial double-blind study was in fact badly carried out, and when a follow-up triple study was conducted to repeat the test, it showed an even less significant outcome and acknowledged the difficulties of properly controlling the experiment. Dr. Emoto himself is technically not a doctor. He is a doctor of alternative medicine at the Open International University for Alternative Medicine in India. A quote, university that specifically targeted quacks and sold them fake degrees. Emoto was also personally invited to take the $1 million paranormal challenge by James Randi, a challenge that promised to pay out $1 million to anyone that could demonstrate a supernormal or paranormal ability under agreed upon scientific testing criteria. Emoto did not participate. Once more, a prevailing theme around the supposed science of the law of attraction are controversies, criticisms, and deceit, with obscure references to quantum physics or brainwaves from individuals that are seemingly unqualified to talk on the subject. It isn't a surprise that the law of attraction is considered a pseudoscience and isn't taken seriously.
It's just like actually watching those Robert videos were like the perfect setup for this, because they use all the pseudo-scientific language. They say things like scientifically proven. We're probably can assume that they're referencing things like this. You know what I mean? Prof says, I am also not technically a doctor, but...
in any form of mainstream science. To the average person, references to these scientific terms often go unchecked and unverified, because whoever is informing you sounds like a figure of authority on the subject by virtue of just mentioning words like quantum. And that's the point, isn't it? Because the issues with the law of attraction doesn't stop at the science. Even if we cannot prove its existence through the scientific method, there remains fundamental flaws in its promoted ideology, flaws that lay the land for people with questionable intentions.
Untouchable belief.
There is a fundamental problem with the law of attraction. Suppose you were to ask me the question, James, why don't you actually attempt to give the law of attraction a try for yourself? As opposed to just listening to the criticisms and science, why don't you give visualizations, affirmations, thinking on the level of that of which you would like to attract into your life a chance? And suppose I truly did go through with this idea for a week, for a month, a year, or even a decade. Two scenarios may occur. Either I manifest that of which I wanted into my life, or I don't, which in and of itself can be subjective. Let's assume that I don't receive from the universe that of which I wanted to attract. I then come back to you years later and tell you of my findings. What do you suppose, if you were a believer in the law of attraction, your response would be?
You'd say, you don't actually believe. You don't actually believe. That would be the answer. You don't believe enough. You didn't have faith. You didn't ever think it would work. You're too cynical.
The LOA is not working is because you don't believe it works.
Oh, that's called a nail. That's called a bingo.
Holding you back is a subconscious resistance or blockage or barrier.
You are really weighing your energy down with a ton of resistance.
You are manifesting probably the absence of something you want.
It is crucial to brainwash that subconscious, to wipe away that negativity.
He just comes out and says it. He's like, no, you got to brainwash yourself. You got to become diluted a little bit. And once you get there, man, you're going to start seeing gains. You're going to start seeing a nice cut.
And herein lies the problem. The law of attraction is, at its core, unfalsifiable. And unfalsifiable claims or ideas pave the way for those who have bad intentions. Because if I were to sell you a course, a program, or a book promoting an unfalsifiable claim, I am left
lovefest22.com. Get your tickets now.
Completely and utterly blameless. Isn't that just convenient? The second part of this series will expand on this idea further. I'm aware that to those of you that truly do believe in the law of attraction, your convictions may remain unwavering. How could it be wrong? What could possibly explain those events in which my thoughts and feelings were so aligned that I genuinely manifested that of which I was looking for? How can anything explain those constant coincidences?
Everything that I wrote on this piece of paper has come true.
But when coincidences are that specific and that they happen that often, you have to stop questioning things.
What about the celebrity?
I mean, like, what else could it be?
And the successful people that credit the law of attraction to their success? They can't be lying. They genuinely do use the law of attraction themselves. Jim Carrey, Will Smith, Oprah Winfrey, Russell Brand, Conor McGregor, Jay-Z, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Steve Harvey, and the list goes on. Survivorship bias is a logical error made when you concentrate on the people or things that made it past some selection process and begin to overlook those that did not. Sure, there are some famous and successful people that credit the law of attraction to their success. But what about the 99% of those who also believe in the law of attraction but failed to get anywhere near that level of success in their lives? Conveniently, we can lay out a bunch of justifications as to why they didn't achieve the same level.
And it's also completely subjective. So you could like manifest like, oh, I want to be Oprah. I want to have a mansion. Well, maybe you'll just get your version of that. Your perspective, your perspective material desire, maybe it's different than what they have manifested because they think of things on a much different plane than you do.
Level of success. But surely a more rational and truthful approach would be to look at these people's success as a multifaceted answer. That these individuals may have been stating their intentions into the world, visualizing their goals, affirming themselves, but none of these things were necessarily the roadmap that paved their success. That there are elements of luck, talent, upbringing, hard work, and countless other factors at play here. Why make that logical leap into assuming the law of attraction is the explanation? Confirmation bias also seems to be rampant here. Because while someone like Conor McGregor is a firm believer in the law of attraction, we seem to look at his successful wins and fights and completely ignore the losses. Did McGregor
And also his trash fire personal life? We also ignore that.
Also manifest his losing fight against Khabib? Of course, the law of attraction may suggest that such a loss was necessary for McGregor to manifest success in the future, or that McGregor wasn't truly aligning his thoughts and feelings with his intentions.
Believe it enough.
The answer, of course, could never simply be that the law of attraction doesn't exist, that the reasons for McGregor's loss are to do with countless other variables. But what about those moments where you truly did set your focus on something and seemingly coincidental occurrences or opportunities appeared out of nowhere?
But when coincidences are that specific and that they happen that often, you have to stop questioning things.
The Baader-Meinhof phenomenon is an effect that arises when your awareness of something increases, usually when you notice something new and suddenly you're aware of that thing all over the place.
See, that's what I was talking about before. See, I didn't know that it was called the Baader-Meinhof thing, but that's what I was talking about. Like, you know, when you know somebody that owns a particular kind of car, and then you start seeing that car everywhere, it's just now you're aware of it. So you identify it. It's not really a crazy, magical thing.
It's sometimes referred to as blue or red car syndrome, after those who claim to notice blue or red cars everywhere all of a sudden after purchasing their own, even though nothing in reality has changed.
I feel like I've manifested some validation here. This guy sounds very smart.
For example, an apple. Let me ask you, while watching this video, how many instances did you notice the image of an apple or the word apple? How about you take another look?
The fuck? Prof says, yes, it's like when you start reading the names of all the writers and producers at the end of the shows and movies and start seeing a lot of, oh, look, I ran out of space to type. Apple. This guy's been brainwashing us. Son of a bitch.
Law of attraction believers may, however, cite something like the Bader-Meinhof phenomenon as proof that their thoughts and feelings are able to manifest or attract that of which you desired. But you didn't really desire or set the intentions into the universe of wanting to see apples, did you? It seems like much of the law of attraction world applies motivated reasoning to their logic. They start with the conclusion and work their way backwards, attempting to find anything that they could use to justify it, whilst throwing away any evidence of the contrary. Now, imagine combining all of these biases with the fact that many turn the law of attraction into an actual identity and a core belief system. Combine the emotional and financial investment people place into such a belief, and it becomes abundantly clear. Of course you want to believe in the law of attraction when you have invested so much into it. Of course you're not going to be willing to find a way in which you could possibly be wrong or willing to accept that you're wrong. So that leaves us with one last rebuke. What's the problem here, James?
I mean, it's not just like we had talked about before. It's like a secular religion. It's a secular religious ideology. Because, I mean, I grew up Catholic, and they talk about kind of similar things when it comes to like prayer and graces, earning graces. And those things can kind of like, they kind of like described, I remember being a kid, they described it as like money in the bank, where you can cash in your graces, your good deeds, your graces, because it was prayer and it was like behavior. And those things you can cash in for the things that you want in your life. Like they'll come back to you tenfold.
Why not let people believe in the law of attraction? It's doing them no harm after all, right? If this were true, then this video would likely not have been made. The only problem is, it isn't. It may be hard to spot the red flags initially, because after all, the concept begins with something that sounds like a truthful statement. Think and feel positive, and you will attract positive. But remember, the inverse applies to this too. That thinking and feeling on a, quote, negative vibration will also attract negative manifestations into your life. We can likely all agree that it's best to think.
Again, that's another kind of religious couching of a concept, because when I was a Catholic, growing up as a little kid, they would say those are the things that attract the devil. You attract evil into your life. You allow the devil to take hold of you and use you as his demonic vessel.
Positively, or that optimism has its place in living a happier life. But we would never expect someone to be feeling great all the time, or at least we would never try to place that burden on someone else. We understand that it's okay to feel bad, and guilting ourselves for feeling this way doesn't seem to be practical, nor does it seem healthy. But consider emotions and thoughts through the lens of an individual who believes in the law of attraction. Why do you feel low? Why is that? Is it because you were vibrating on a negative frequency? When your day doesn't seem to be going well, why is that? Is it because you were the one that manifested these things? If you haven't achieved your goals yet, is it because of your own failure to be thinking and feeling on the same frequency as that of which you are trying to attract into your life? Underpinning much of the law of attraction community is this notion of blame. That when things haven't gone your way, at the heart of it, you are to blame. And no matter how hard someone may argue that the law of attraction doesn't suggest you should feel guilty when you are, quote, vibrating on a lower frequency, the very idea that you are at fault is a fundamental premise in the law of attraction. When you have an
Yeah, because there has to constantly be something wrong with you so that you keep coming back for their help, for their therapy, for their seminars, etc. Like, you can't feel grounded, you can't feel like you're making any progress if you're not constantly going back and taking kind of this self-loathing, this defeat that you've probably experienced in your life, and then trying to find something deeper. Like, oh, I need the more tools. I need the deeper secrets because there's obviously something happening here. There's something wrong with me, and I don't have the right toolkits, so I need to keep constantly investing time and money into talking to these people and going to seminars and therapy sessions.
Falsifiable belief like this, you quite literally begin to gaslight yourself.
Yeah.
Because behind everything that happens to you or your surroundings is that recurring question: did I manifest this into my life? How willing then would you be as a believer on the law of attraction to embrace negative emotions? How willing would you be to accept a bout of depression? How willing would you be to suppress such emotions or thoughts on the basis that they'll ruin your, quote, vibe? Imagine the psychological harm that a belief system like this could cause, and the level of paranoia that entails it. The law of attraction enables itself to be a blameless entity, where all blame falls on its believers. Is it a surprise then when I tell you that it makes appearances in countless multi-level marketing companies?
How to succeed in MLM using law of attraction.
Is it a surprise that the law of attraction is designed perfectly for cult-like thinking? Because once more, any critical thinking or doubts you have are encouraged to be suppressed.
Don't believe it works.
What's holding you back is a subconscious resistance or blockage or barrier.
You are really weighing your energy down with a ton of resistance.
You are manifesting probably the absence of something you want.
It is crucial to brainwash.
This is really, I am so fucking angry at the law of attraction. How can I feel good emotions and thoughts when I am depressed and run down? I have real problems just trying to think myself in happiness or think I have it all now. In my exhausted state, I can barely get myself to function, let alone get my brain to put me in a happy place. I need help. I need relief. This is driving me crazy. I'm in tears. Why me? Why am I this way? Yeah.
That's subconscious.
Any failure to reach the goals required by a cult or multi-level marketing company falls not at the feet of the company, but at your very own. It's here where material harm in the law of attraction begins to show. But it doesn't stop here either. Because the law of attraction extrapolates itself into the world of medicine and health too, where it claims that disease and illness can be blamed on your very own vibrations. In Rhonda Byrne,
just like that lady we were listening to, it actually kind of dovetails into those people we were listening to that interview, and the lady was talking about reincarnation and this concept of, well, I chose my parents, I chose these things through the process of reincarnation. So really, I need to own that. I need to own that I would actually invite this pain into my life.
Byrne's film The Secret, a film that popularized the law of attraction at the mainstream level, there are several examples and quotes that allude to the fact that disease like cancer can be cured through the idea of positive thinking. It is here where material harm surpasses psychological barriers.
It's so interesting that what Jim Carrey is, at least at one time in his life, kind of subscribed to the law of attraction, The Secret, because he made a movie about Andy Kaufman, who also kind of didn't believe in mainstream medicine, and he ended up dying because of it, because he would go to like find these kind of like gurus and weirdos to help him remove his cancer, and he got hoodwinked, he got taken in. So Jim Carrey also at the same time, like, having that experience, making that movie, knowing that story, and then on the other end of it being like, but yeah, dude, but there's really something here.
Leads its way into fatal consequences. It is here where something that initially sounds so harmless takes a darker, more serious turn. Positive thinking and optimism, visualizing your goals, affirmations, meditation are all on the surface level reasonable and arguably beneficial habits. But is it possible to strip these things away from the law of attraction along with any pseudoscience that comes with it? Is it possible to view these things on their own and to see them for what they are? Not a roadmap to success or a secret to winning the game of life, but a helpful tool? If so, then there is one question that seemingly remains. When we look at the law of attraction, who is it that stands to gain off of something like this? Who benefits from being blameless? Who are the real winners of this ideology? Because make no mistake, this is no small business.
I had friends that were telling me that the secret is real.
There's this cult around Napoleon Hill, but in reality, he was just a scam artist.
But what you don't realize is they are being groomed. They are part of the scam, or they don't even realize it. That's how good these guys are.
Vima and law of attraction basically go hand in hand.
You got to break through the logic. You cannot let logic control you. Logic is bad for us.
How much money did you lose?
Logic is bad for us.
In your experience?
All in all, the guts of £10,000. Because I know I was absolutely broken. It's the only way I can put it.
Sounds like a Scientologist. Sounds like somebody that left Scientology. How much did you put into it? I don't know, $100,000?
The words, I was broken because of my experience.
Because it's set up the same way as all those kind of like pyramid scheme-esque type of like self-help things. Oh, well, you got to get to the next level. Get some friends. You'll get a discount. Illuminati. Oh, to be continued. Oh, let's see if we can find the second part of this video. I think this guy's doing a great job. He's doing a great job. So this is from December 2020. Part 2 of the series. There it is. This guy's a slick videographer here. Video essayist. James Jani. Jani. Go check him out. And this will be probably the last video for tonight. Watch this. Why not? It's been kind of a slow, casual night. Not a lot of excitement. That's okay. Prologue. Here we go.
Before we begin, it's important that I emphasize a few disclaimers. By no means am I calling the individuals mentioned in this video scammers. Consider what you are about to see.
He's like, but I kind of am. And, but for legal reasons.
Criticism of their business practices and promoted ideologies, not an incitement of harassment or hate. I have no way of knowing their true intentions. It is entirely possible that those mentioned have created their teaching.
Yeah, this lady says that she has an ancient spirit that lives inside her. Abraham from the Bible, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah. Yeah, something's rotten in the law of attraction.
With good
or for her, it's the vortex. She calls it the vortex. You got to get into the vortex.
Intent, no matter how misguided those teachings have become. And whilst I will be including sources to back up every claim that I make, treat this video as my own opinion and conclusions surrounding the subject of New Age spirituality and New Thoughts related ideas. Now, to those who think...
Big Paul says, please don't sue me. Yeah, exactly. Well, those, especially Abraham, like I said before, anecdotally, Abraham, Esther Hicks, those are the people that got the Zoobox our first hard copyright strike. It was our first suspension. It was because of Esther Hicks.
I am criticizing anyone who is trying to make money. You have misunderstood my position. One look at my channel will show you I have no problem with somebody making money. However, I do take issue with the context surrounding how they make their money.
A lot of people actually were in my group were attending the events, the courses, in a hope to make money. so that they could feed their family, but unfortunately they have lost it. So
New Age spirituality has seen incredible growth in the mainstream, having a huge influence on the self-help industry thanks to figures like Napoleon Hill, Rhonda Byrne, and others who I will be discussing further. But what seemingly goes unnoticed is the booming business behind it that I think does more.
It's actually a really fascinating documentary about kind of the more, it's not necessarily like strictly law of attraction stuff, but it does kind of orbit this. It is about Tony Robbins. It's called the I'm Not Your Guru. It's on Netflix, I think. I think it's a Netflix documentary, and it's a really interesting perspective onto like the inner workings of how he runs seminars and the people that go to them. It's actually pretty fascinating.
More harm than good.
When you recognize your vibrational frequency, you're drawing into yourself all the time, literally, the vibration that is most like what you're putting out.
Right. There was a woman who had cancer who refused medical treatment because she believed in the secret.
In this video, we'll take a look at some of its most influential figures, its roots, and how it is fundamentally built from a flawed and dangerous disregard for reality. Now, it would be impossible for me to cover the entirety of the New Thought movement in just one video. So bear in mind that there will be influential figures in this industry that I fail to mention or decide to cut. However, I want you to take notice of the patterns. From multi-level marketing, to scammers, to self-help, to pseudoscience, to subtle deception, I'll aim to demonstrate why I think New Age spirituality has inherently allowed itself to become the perfect grift.
This reminds me of the videos made by this guy called Mouthy Buddha. He used to be on YouTube, and he would talk about child sex trafficking and like Illuminati and aliens and all sorts of crazy shit. He's on BitChute now. He might be on Odyssey too. I don't know. I haven't checked. But this guy's videos, but like the slick presentation and just the way he does things reminds me a lot of that.
How's everybody doing today? Me too. All right, here's what I want to talk about today. Working in an office.
Class exclusive all-wheel drive, a premium navigation.
This low everyday price is here to stay.
We'll get you approved in 30 minutes or less. I guarantee it.
Did I know at the time, out of my greatest despair, was to come the greatest gift. I couldn't believe all the people who knew this. They were the greatest people in history. I began searching for people alive today who know the secret.
You know, this secret gives you everything you want.
In 2006, Rhonda Byrne released her film, The Secret, a film that promised to change your life, featuring various gurus who promoted an idea that could bring you health, wealth, and happiness. That idea was the law of attraction.
Everything that's coming into your life, you are attracting into your life. And it's attracted to you by virtue of the images you're holding in your mind.
A film that suggested being overweight came from thinking fat thoughts, or that the only reason a person does not have enough money is because they are blocking money from coming to them with their own thoughts.
The secret is the law of attraction.
It was a feel-good message. The film exceeded $65 million in sales and became something of a cultural phenomenon.
Have you heard about it? This is The Secret. Talk about this DVD has been spreading around the world.
I had friends that were telling me that The Secret is real.
A girl I knew sent me a book called The Secret. She was like, listen, David, this is going to help you.
But what you are also witnessing here is the success of another kind. A success at rebranding an idea that had been cultivated for many years.
It goes deep too, because remember that lady? Oh, what's her name? The weird new agey lady that was running for president. Oh, what the hell was her name? She's running for president. She kind of believed in like crystals and The Secret and self-affirmation. Oh, drawing a blank. You know the one I'm talking about. She's like best buddies with Oprah. She talked about it all the time.
before Burns' film. Fast forward to present day, and you'll find no shortage of gurus promoting these same rehashed ideas.
The moment you start feeling abundant and worthy, you are generating wealth.
3 law of attraction truths that I wish I knew earlier.
Whatever you can see in your mind, you can hold in your hand, whether you want to be a millionaire, whether you
7 steps to speed up the law of attraction using your spiritual powers.
Here we establish the first pattern of this industry, targeting a vulnerable audience. Those who are struggling financially, having relationship problems, or suffering from a disease are particularly favorable. Or perhaps you're just searching for answers. This idea, this law of attraction, seems to serve up answers in such a simple yet idealistic way.
And the truth is, you can actually get whatever you want in life. Whatever you can see in your mind, you can hold in your hand. Whether you want to be a millionaire, whether you want to
give you 3 ways to manifest money within 24 hours.
How would you like to get your ex back? The law.
It's like a weird thing. Like, so if you went to one of these seminars, you went to one of these courses or whatever, and wouldn't you kind of like be incumbent upon you to like kind of look around and be like, well, a lot of these people, especially if you've been doing it for a while, like say you've been doing it for 10 years, and nobody's really, their life isn't really drastically different. Maybe the perception of their life is, maybe they've learned to kind of accept their circumstances or find the silver lining in things. But wouldn't you like look around and be like, wow, this doesn't really work? I have to imagine some of these people wanted to be millionaires, and nobody is. What's going on?
Law of attraction may be the power you need.
When you're vulnerable or desperate, critical thinking is dulled, and feeling and emotion cloud your decision-making abilities. So when you're presented this secret, a secret that promises to change your life with so little effort, who could possibly fault you for wanting to believe? The bait has been set, but you have to understand, the law of attraction is only one branch of a bigger belief system. To understand the problems with the ideas Rhonda presented, you have to examine the roots of where it all began. From here, you can trace the same patterns and the influence it's having over the gurus we see today.
What?
The New Thought movement was centered around a few key ideas. That we and everything in existence are essentially God, or at least we all have some level of divinity within us. Positive thinking has the power to carry forth manifestations into the material world. New Thought.
Yeah, see, like I mean, and I think even that Rhonda Byrne woman kind of says that about The Secret, is that she's like capitalizing on ancient knowledge. Ancient knowledge, because this is just it's just religious. If you grew up in any type of religion, this is exactly the stuff that they teach you when you're a kid. But the thing, like, you know, it's because they're trying to find a way to encourage you to stay on the straight and narrow. It's the fear of hell, but it's also that you're divine. And doing good things brings back good things to you. Doing bad things brings bad things to you. It's like pretty basic stuff. So I guess there's just like, and that's why it's so attractive to people, because most people, especially like when the Secret came out, probably had some sort of interaction or familiarity with that kind of language. So they kind of already knew it. They were already comfortable with it.
Thought's supposed origins travel back to a man named Phineas Parkhurst Quimby.
That's a fucking killer name, Phineas Parkhurst Quimby. I like that name. He looks like a trustworthy fellow. Look at that beard.
American clockmaker born in 1802. Quimby became interested in the idea of using the mind as a way of curing people from illness and disease, after he himself had supposedly recovered from tuberculosis through his own healing methods. His philosophy became the basis for New Thought. Quimby's teachings inspired many other authors and so-called philosophers to continue spreading and expanding on his message and the overall New Thought movement. In those years, New Thought focused on our mind's ability to heal us from illness and disease. It emphasized intuition, feeling, and anecdotal evidence rather than empirical science-based evidence. It wasn't, however, until the 20th century where the New Thought movement extrapolated this into wealth creation. The ideology is perfect. If our thoughts had the power to quite literally change the material world, surely they could manifest wealth too. Then, a man named Napoleon Hill came right out of the blue with his first book, The Law of Success, and a decade later, his best-selling book, Think and Grow Rich. Up to this point, it's nigh impossible to tell what the intentions of most New Thought authors were. The ideas they presented in their works were logically flawed in many areas, some of which I have already discussed in the first installment of this series, others of which we will get into soon. But it's when we get to figures like Napoleon Hill that the lines between good intentions and con artistry are blurred. Because Hill had an immense influence over many of the New Thought law of attraction gurus that have come since, having had his works promoted and circulated in countless business and self-help circles. I promise you, if you yourself haven't heard of this book, you know someone who has. But my question to you now is, how much do you really know about Napoleon Hill? Because if we take a dive into Hill's past, we notice that the reputation he's acquired amongst the New Thought movement is not at all what it seems. On the contrary, his true narrative is one of failed businesses, fraud, and grossly exaggerated achievements.
Well, that's just because he didn't believe enough. Now, if he had just believed enough, it's so easy to give advice, so hard to follow it.
Think and Grow Rich echoes much of the New Thought sentiment, especially when it comes to the pursuit of riches, highlighting how our thoughts and our desires can be transmuted into their financial equivalent. Hill even goes as far as to use examples in which thoughts have been able to cure deafness, including his own sons. This is a book that Napoleon claims he was tasked with creating after meeting one of the richest men in the world at the time, Andrew Carnegie, whereby Carnegie tasked him to interview some of the most successful men in business and learn the secrets to their success. But go a little further down that rabbit hole and you'll realize Hill may not be the person he is so commonly portrayed as by his fans or his own works. In 1907, 30 years before the release of Think and Grow Rich, Hill co-founded the Acre Hill Lumber Company in Mobile, Alabama. Only a year later, the Pensacola Journal reported that the company was liable to bankruptcy proceedings and charges of mail fraud. It turns out that Hill had bought lumber from outside of Mobile on credit before selling the lumber at a much lower price in cash. Eventually, creditors and other businesses were catching wind of the fraud, and in September of 1908, Hill was on the run from authorities. It was around this time that Napoleon Hill claimed he spoke with Andrew Carnegie. But according to Andrew Carnegie's biographer, there was, quote, no evidence of any sort that Carnegie and Hill ever met. In 1909, Hill initiated the Automobile College of Washington, a college that promised students to teach them how to build, chauffeur, and sell motor cars. Only it turns out this college was just a way of getting free labor for building cars and then selling them. The Motor World
Oh my god, it's like the early days of internships.
Magazine in April 1912 called Hill's College a scam and a, quote, joke to anyone of average intelligence, listing the many insane claims that Hill's College had been making, along with its scheme of paying students $3 a head per any other student they had recruited into the college, much akin to a multi-level marketing scheme we might see today. The college eventually folded in 1912. But Hill wasn't finished trying to make a name for himself. And in 1915, he established a school called the George Washington Institute of Advertising, intending to teach the principles of success and self-confidence. Only 3 years later, 2 warrants had been issued for the arrest of Hill with charges of violating blue sky laws. You see, Hill established the college with a $100,000 capitalization and attempted to sell the shares to investors, primarily his own students, despite the school's assets being worth at best $1,200. The school ended not long afterwards. And this only scratches the surface of the other swindles Hill had been involved in. Of course, I understand what the common rebuke here would be. Napoleon Hill's book actually has value, and I myself have taken value from that book. Why should I care if the man himself had a fraudulent past? But that's the point, isn't it? If you were a grifter, then for the grift to work, you must be able to provide some crumb of truth. The strategy is simple yet so effective. gain the trust of your victim by preaching some level of truth, then subtly attach more extreme ideas to that truth until the victim can no longer recognize the difference. New Thought does this constantly. Positive thinking is no longer just a tool solely for better day-to-day well-being. It becomes a powerful force that can literally manifest material results. Health and disease, according to New Thought, can be cured simply through the power of our minds. Consider this. How many people have read and engrossed themselves in the teachings of Napoleon Hill? Hundreds, if not millions of individuals? But how many of them truly managed to achieve the financial success that they initially visualized on being tasked to do so when reading the book? Most, I'd wager, have likely not. Why is that? Because financial...
Whoa, this guy's burning money? This guy's a psycho. Did he manifest this money first? The fuck?
Success can't possibly be reduced down to your thinking or your ability to visualize wealth. Even taking action, which Hill admittedly does promote in his book, is no guarantee for financial success. Action increases probabilities, but for this to be a law, it must work every time. And yet, New Thought is fundamentally unfalsifiable. We can't measure thoughts and feelings, nor the supposed vibrations thoughts and feelings have. And that's just the thing, see? The best grift is the one that leaves the grifter blameless. Anyone right now can write a book or sell a program on the law of attraction. They can run ads targeting vulnerable consumers, and best of all, if their teachings don't work, the blame never falls on them. It's always your fault. You didn't believe enough. You weren't thinking positive enough. You had resistance. You weren't patient enough. Now, the price of a book doesn't seem daunting. If you only spend a few dollars and glean some value from it, then it seems rather harmless and possibly worth the money. But how would you feel if the price of said book was a figure much higher than just a few dollars? How would you feel about someone promoting a secret or guarantee of success for much larger amounts of money?
I always feel really bad for people that when you find out how much these seminars cost, and most of the people that go there, they're pretty, like, it kind of, there's a huge spectrum, because you'll find like really rich, like business guys, but you'll also find like house mothers and stuff, stay-at-home moms, desperate people that like actually like borrowing money, taking out loans. Actually, I think they get into that in that I'm Not Your Guru documentary. With like where people get the money to like spend $10,000 on a seminar.
Napoleon Hill's book has been an inspiration to many as the New Thought movement continues to grow, inspiring much of the self-help industry we're consumed by today. Two of which went by the names of Jerry and Esther Hicks.
Oh, we'd like to ask Abraham to come and speak to us.
Okay. It just takes a few seconds. I won't move much. Just... It is nice to have an opportunity to visit.
Esther Hicks claims that she can channel an entity, or rather a group of entities known as Abraham Hicks, charging hundreds of dollars for their seminars and workshops.
Good morning.
I actually know somebody in my life that's how I got introduced to Esther Hicks. Somebody in my life actually was like, found Esther Hicks very compelling, very interesting. And actually one of the original videos that we did, one of the original like podcasts that we did for Zoobox, we talk about Esther Hicks. I think it's called something about the Vortex. If you look up our YouTube channel and you go look up the Vortex, you can see the stories of this being explained to me.
Members of the audience are invited forward to pose a question to Esther, or more specifically, the Abraham entity she is supposedly channeling.
Hi, it's nice to see you again. Thank you again. And thank you to Esther.
Whilst Jerry sits at the side somewhere taking notes, perhaps for their next book.
Well, they're kind of like mentalists. They're like kind of the con artists. Like mentalists are the people that oftentimes will say that they can talk to like dead spirits or passed on loved ones and like give messages to people. That's kind of what they do as well.
Say that in this book that is coming, there are 33 examples of all kinds of things that might happen in someone's life. And each of these examples...
Both Esther and Jerry have authored countless books promoting the teachings of this Abraham entity, which are structured like a conversation between Jerry and Abraham, with the latter giving answers to life's most asked questions. Esther goes as far as claiming on her site that this is the original source material for the current law of attraction. In fact, many in the law of attraction community suggest that Rhonda Byrne's film, The Secret, was just a watered-down version of Hicks's teachings, and
if I'm not mistaken, Esther Hicks is also in the documentary The Secret, or the whatever you want to call it, documentary, movie, whatever.
Precisely because of Esther's reputation as the most authentic one out of the two that I think it's worth discussing her. Because upon closer inspection, we see that much of Hicks's teachings are exactly what we've come to understand from New Thought. I don't actually have to know whether or not Esther really is channeling an entity for me to be extremely skeptical of her work. The contradictions and problematic teachings speak far more to her legitimacy than any claims of channeling. In Esther's book, The Law of Attraction, one such problematic teaching centers around the idea that a victim of a robbery is a co-creator of the violence inflicted upon them. Jerry states, "I can understand robbers being attracted to those they're robbing, but it's difficult to see innocent victims attracting the robbery, or the person being discriminated against attracting the prejudice." Hicks responds, "They are just the same. The assaulted and the assaulter are co-creators of the event."
And also, Esther Hicks Abraham got in trouble because he said the same thing about, wait for it, the Holocaust. They said the same thing about the Holocaust. That every Holocaust victim had manifested that situation and had been a co-creator of the events. That was the one time I think Esther got like kind of more larger media attention.
If you think Hicks's response here is a one-off, you'd be mistaken. She emphasizes this point numerous times. Take a moment to truly consider the level of victim blaming and lack of accountability that such a position would lead to. Or instead of a robbery, imagine a child born into poverty who starves to death before the age of 5. According to Hicks's teachings, these children were co-creators of their fate. And this isn't a belief shared just by Hicks alone. This is a fundamental premise in all of New Thought. By this logic, we can say that the perpetrators of countless crimes shouldn't be held accountable. After all, they are just the product of their victims' vibrational frequency. Any rational person
They were asking for it. Did you see that skirt?
can see the danger of this thinking. But as we've come to learn, for the preacher of such ideas, this logic is perfect. Because all who complain that they haven't been able to manifest health, wealth, abundance, or whatever dream we've sold them on, we can tell these people that it isn't the fault of our belief system that they didn't get what they wanted. It is in fact their fault. And as we peddle more of our workshops, write more of our books, we have an excuse each and every time someone attempts to challenge our ideas.
So what we notice as we look into the medical profession today, we see doctors and scientists literally scaring people to death with their pronouncements of diseases that are incurable, when we know that there is not any disease that is incurable. You can get to where you want to be from wherever you are if you will point in the direction that you want to go and continue to move in that direction.
Esther Hicks, as we've already discovered with others in the New Thought movement, makes the claim that our thoughts and feelings, or our vibrational frequencies, can cure us of any disease. It seems odd then, or rather hypocritical, that her husband Jerry himself passed away from cancer in 2011. But this hypocrisy is something we'll see more of as we continue. Now,
Well, it's because he didn't believe enough. I don't know what Jerry was doing or thinking, but clearly it's his fault.
you might ask, Why bother adding all the metaphysical and pseudoscientific ideas in the first place? If Esther and
Because it makes it abstract, intangible. You can't really like put your finger on it. You can't interrogate something that's that esoteric and broad.
Jerry were truly trying to con people or just make a ton of money, wouldn't it have appealed to a bigger market if she simply passed herself off as a life coach, rather than turning potential customers off of her works by claiming that she could channel another entity? I, however, disagree. It's my opinion that the addition of spirituality and channeling is actually an incredibly clever marketing device, because now life advice turns into the teachings of Abraham. And if one wants to hear the teachings of Abraham, they must go to the source. They must go to the person who is claiming to channel this divine entity. This creates scarcity around Hicks's business of answering humanity's burning questions. And the scarcer the product, the more valuable it becomes. So when you're given an eye-watering price tag, no one bats an eyelid. It is my opinion that New Thought's use of spirituality and pseudoscience serves this exact purpose, allowing your teachings to seem more valuable in the marketplace. It is my opinion that the use of an Abraham entity is more of a marketing device than anything else, conceived from the foundation of Jerry Hicks's past career as a high-level distributor for the multi-level marketing company Amway. A company that preached ideas like the law of attraction and books like Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich because they recognized that in order to keep members inside the MLM scheme, they had to blame themselves if they didn't achieve the goals the MLM promised. Either way, none of this stopped Oprah from inviting Esther for an interview years later, just as she had done with Rhonda Byrne.
Oh, I didn't know about that. I didn't know Oprah interviewed Esther Hicks.
For over 20 years, Esther Hicks and her husband Jerry have been spreading the word of that so-called secret.
It didn't stop the Abraham Hicks money-making machine from running as usual. The Secret, just like Esther and Jerry's works, were repackaged ideas from the same root, New Thought. It was perfect, to promise you health, wealth, love, and abundance all in one go. To package it all under an umbrella of spirituality.
I believe that once you discover the secret, that you can immediately start creating the life you want, whether it's getting out of debt, whether it's finding a more fulfilling job, even falling in love.
Rhonda's film earned her millions, and it gave an incredible boost to the careers of the supposed teachers it featured, allowing them to branch away from the franchise to run their own coaching businesses and cash in on spiritual retreats. But I remind you, New Thought is a belief system perfectly designed for grifters who don't care for the desperately ill, poor, and helpless who line their pockets, leading them to push incredibly dangerous ideas onto their victims.
So I thought, what if I just visualize checks coming in the mail? So I just visualize a bunch of checks coming in the mail. Within just 1 month, things started to change. And it is amazing. Today, I just get checks in the mail. I get a few bills, but I get more checks than bills.
What? Where do these checks come from, David?
But now serious questions have been raised about his business dealings. In this exclusive investigation, Ben Fordham has found investors left high and dry and demanding justice.
A former student of Shermer's who spent...
It's like the checks just kept coming in. This is one of the guys that wrote one.
$30,000 to learn about the stock market.
Part of the funds were supposed to be put into a trading fund, and David would then trade those funds on the futures stock market.
What happened to that fund?
Well, we don't know.
It's their money. They paid you the tuition fees.
It's not their
money.
money.
And you told them that you would take $5,000 out of each person's tuition and trade it on the market, and they would receive 50% of the profits. They never received any profits. Where's the money?
That money, and come back to the original question.
Where is the money? Please answer the question.
You could just say, oh, well, we lost it on the market, dude. They weren't manifesting. They weren't thinking hard enough. They didn't see it. They couldn't see it. Not my fault.
The money, and as someone asked me recently the same question.
Where is the money, David?
Well,
please answer the question. Where is the money?
Where is the money? You tell me.
Permanently banned from providing any financial services following an investigation by the ASIC. He still, however, continues teaching the law of attraction in other countries.
Most people look at their current state of affairs and they say, this is who I am. That's not who you are. That's who you were. And so you must continually invest in yourself. You've got to grow in every single way.
Your money is nothing more than the amount of energy, paper energy, that you have in your pocket or purse.
Hey, what's the problem? 2 people not breathing. With no pulse. Yes.
Police are focusing their investigation on James Arthur Ray, the motivational speaker and self-help guru who ran the 5-day retreat. Over 60 people were in the sweat lodge for 2 hours as the culmination of Ray's spiritual warrior retreat. It was pitch black inside and extremely hot. When it was over, 2 people were dead.
Kirby's life ended while
Jesus Christ.
She was trying to improve it. That's when she found self-help guru James Arthur Ray.
And I can help you. I really can.
The motivational speaker had already built a multi-million-dollar business, launched by the popular movie The Secret. She reached one of the highest...
Like, that's where, like, ego comes in, because the guy's already raking in the cash. He's already making tons and tons of money, and he's just like, well, let's kick it up a notch. Let's have him come down to the ranch. We'll jump in a sweat lodge. See what happens. You really want to reach in spiritual enlightenment? You want to see the way forward? Give me $50,000. Come and sit in the sweat lodge. You know, because that's just it's not a necessary component for what his business was or what he was doing.
Level workshops, a retreat, which costs her life savings, $10,000.
Oh, $10,000. That's pretty reasonable. I take it all back.
Find the defendant, James Arthur Ray, on the offense of negligent homicide as a result of the death of Kirby Brown as follows: guilty.
For 2 years in Arizona State Prison and was released under the supervision. 2013, he continues running a self-help business.
On November 23rd, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. I truly believed in my heart, with my strong faith, that I was already healed. I saw myself as if cancer was never in my body. From the time I was diagnosed, which was November 23rd, to the time I was healed totally, was approximately 3 months. And that's without radiation and chemotherapy.
Do you think she's dead? Do you think she's dead now?
Therapy.
Kathy Goodman claims she healed herself from cancer using the law of attraction. She died a few years ago of breast cancer. The Secret makes various unsubstantiated claims about our mind's ability to cure illness and disease. Many of these claims come from unqualified individuals.
You will attract everything that you require. If it's money you need, you'll attract. If it's people you need, you'll attract. If it's a certain book you need, you'll attract.
Bob Proctor is a preacher of the law of attraction, appearing numerous times during Rhonda Byrne's film. But perhaps you may not know, Bob Proctor had also been a big promoter of the multi-level marketing company Vemma, a company that specifically targeted universities, aiming to find teenagers and young adults who are filled with dreams of wealth and fame.
Here you create your own income. You can be 16 and make as much money as you want. You can be 85 and make as much money as you want. Why would you let somebody else tell you how much money you're worth? That doesn't make sense to me.
Bob Proctor made several appearances at their events, as his books were promoted amongst Vemma's young distributors.
In fact, I introduced my own wife to the company, and she earns tens of thousands of dollars now. Now, I recommended that she
selling macrame products on Etsy.
Join a company called Vemma. And I recommended it because I know the man that owns the company. And there's a company I'm working with, Vemma, and I'm working with their people worldwide. Because I'm going to tell you, this is one of the best opportunities for time and money freedom that you're ever going to find. The opportunity that you're looking at here with...
It's like really truly the banality of evil. It's like what we're looking at here. People like this. Truly, truly, truly. Big Paul says, my brother, when he was in high school, got into Vima. Damn. Watch out.
With Vima, we'll give you that.
And Charles is going to explain an idea about Vima, about what a phenomenal product it is, but what a phenomenal compensation plan.
Now, I've got a reputation that is worldwide. I wouldn't do anything to stain or do hurt my reputation.
In 2015, the company was shut down for essentially being a pyramid scheme. Alex Morton, one of the figureheads for Vima, later went on to promoting a similar multi-level marketing scheme.
My name is Alex Morton, and I'm the Executive Vice President of iMarkets Live.
Now, who else do you think promotes iMarkets Live, attending and speaking at their conferences?
Mr. Bob Proctor.
I believe that's the goal of all thinking people that join the I Am Academy. There's such a phenomenal opportunity here.
But of course, this is no issue to Bob Proctor, as he can continue promoting these schemes whilst charging for his own self-help courses and programs.
You are all, and I am, God's highest form of creation. No one can guess at what you and I are capable of doing.
For all of you wondering, the simplest way to sum up the law of attraction:
get rich using the law of attraction.
On the 17-second manifestation,
you expand your awareness.
Favorite law of attraction and manifesting hacks.
So it's just one payment of $3.99 or 3 installments of $149.
How to manifest a text from a specific person.
And how to manifest your significant other.
Manifesting health for the people in our lives.
You want to manifest anything you want into your life.
Ask for a video on how to manifest someone.
Attract your twin flame.
Money, scarcity, manifestation, love.
To some, it'll be nothing but a passing fad. To others, in a more vulnerable and desperate situation, it'll be their last perceived lifeline, a ticket to escaping debt, a ticket to repairing relationships, a ticket to curing themselves of a disease. And we'll see the same pattern repeat itself again and again of those searching for miracles and those selling them.
Because I know I was absolutely broken. It's the only way I can put it into words. I was broken because of my experience.
How much money did you lose in your experience?
All in all, the guts of £10,000. I know, it's sick.
And as a single parent, that's got to be devastating.
Devastating is a bit of an understatement.
What is the law of attraction or new thought when you realize that positive thinking, visualizations, meditation, affirmations are all tools that exist separately from this belief system? When we strip away all these tools from new thought, then perhaps you'll see it in a truer light. An unhealthy glorification of positivity with a lack of care for real science, opting instead for anecdotes and unfalsifiable claims. Of course.
Yeah, it's just there's no accountability. They don't have to answer to anybody, right?
Science isn't able to explain everything yet. The problem of consciousness is a real one. But when I look at New Thought or New Age spirituality in general, it doesn't seem truly interested in these ideas. It instead uses spirituality to promote great dreams and a feel-good message that dumbs down complicated issues like obtaining wealth or disease into metaphysical pseudoscientific concepts. It uses spirituality to avoid harsher realities about the world at large. It is guilty of the just world fallacy, assuming that positive actions will lead to positive consequences, completely ignoring the fact that sometimes those who are optimistic and positive all their lives can be run down and taken advantage of, whilst other individuals who are morally bankrupt advance successfully in their careers with no repercussions. It's easy to fall into New Thought's overly optimistic and naive painting of reality. I know this because I myself have done so. In a video on this very channel, I promoted the works of Eckhart Tolle, and although Tolle's books steer more towards Eastern and Taoist philosophy, I didn't realize that what I was promoting was still a gateway into New Thought. My message here is not that you should abandon your goals, visions, or dreams, but that you should be wary of an industry that uses unfalsifiable claims and an unimaginable amount of pseudoscience to generate millions in revenue. Critical thinking is a skill, and it should be honed and practiced. From looking at the New Thought movement's tendency to attract those who have questionable intentions, to its incredibly harmful claims about health and medicine, and its constant habit of victim blaming, it should be met with extreme scrutiny. And a series like this isn't going to stop this ever-growing industry. But my hope is that it gets you to see another side to this belief system, whether you yourself believe in it or whether you know someone who does. Because at some point, I'm certain, you will encounter new thoughts or new age spirituality, whether it be on the train home from work, whilst talking to a friend, or scrolling through your social media feed. If this series gets you to do anything in that moment, it's this: to stop and think critically. No matter how vulnerable your situation, to not let someone bypass your reason and logic. To be able to spot when someone is promising you a dream, to spot when someone is presenting you a crumb of truth so that you accept their larger, more extreme claims as truth too. To spot all of this and to be able to see through the illusion. An illusion masquerading as truth, using pseudoscience, spirituality, and a feel-good message as bait. And that, my friends, brings us to the end of this video and series. Before you click off, if you haven't already seen it, part 1 will be linked in the description below. Goes without saying, again, that this isn't about inciting harassment or hate. It is about my thoughts and critique on New Age spirituality and the New Thought movement. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of heated debates in the comments below, which I look forward to reading. But if you did enjoy this video and this series, do hit the like button, do subscribe to the channel if you like the content. Those things are free, but they really do help out with everything that I'm doing with the channel. And if you'd like to support the channel further, I've got a Patreon where I do Q&As, video editing tutorials, that kind of thing. So if that sounds like something you might be interested in, do check it out. Link will be in the description below. But look,
is he keeping the secrets behind a paywall? This fucker. Now, that's a really good video, and very talented video essayist. I'll definitely, I'm gonna hit the subscribe, hit the notification bell. I'd happily watch more stuff from that guy. Really cool. Well, I think that's probably going to do it for tonight. Yeah, I think that's going to do it for tonight. I'm going to go get some sleep, and we'll be back maybe Wednesday. We'll do a live stream on Wednesday, and then also on Thursday night, February 24th, 9 p.m., come back to our YouTube channel, Zoobox. Look up Zoobox on YouTube, and you can watch another debate. We're going to be having Australian vegan health enthusiast Durian Ryder debate our resident homesteading butcher, Mr. Prophet. That's going to be going on the 24th at 9 p.m. So come check it out. It'll be fun. It doesn't even cost you anything. No tickets. You're free to just come and watch it. Should be fun. Should be good. All right. Good night. Adios.